So we have that tornado watch that just came out a couple minutes ago. This is going to be until 11 p.m. Sunday, and it's going to be for these southern counties getting up to Montgomery, not at Montgomery, but we're getting up to Warren, Madison, Adair, and Cass County, and it's going to be for those counties below heading into that Iowa-Nebraska border. Coming in from Minnesota as we're starting to see some showers and some thunderstorms come into the area. So the first one we'll talk about is this going to be over here in Fremont, Mills, Montgomery, and Page. This one has been observed with a considerable threat heading through Red Oak with hail size up to about 1.75 inches, which is about golf ball size hail, and winds up to 60 miles an hour. So we'll take a look at this one here. We'll get those speed and we'll see about the time frame that could be getting into other areas. So moving northeast at about 25 miles an hour. Let me get that set up. Move this about northeast into the area. So about 509 for Vasilla, Nordaway 518, Quincy 537, 540 Corning, and then at about 549 Mount Etna for this severe thunderstorm warning here. Zoom back out, I think they issued a new one, might be just on the side there for Adams. Yep, there's a new one. Just getting out of that transition from National Weather Service Omaha into National Weather Service Des Moines. So that's why we have this warning right here. Let's get it on that one. We'll just do a quick query for that. So this is going to be for Adams County, especially Carbon, and that's going to be until 5:30 p.m. tonight. We'll take a look back at the big picture. No severe thunderstorm watches. We just have this tornado watch in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. And that's going to be for the southern parts just below that I-80 corridor for Warren, Madison, Adair, and Cass County, and below that. So not crossing I-80 just yet, but they have said potentially could get up into more northern parts, into Des Moines, Redfield, and Audubon as well. That's the potential there. We'll just take a look back at the hail for this here, for this Red Oak storm. Take a look at what the parameterize for it as well. So they do have that right next, almost into Red Oak and Coburg. So if you are just north of Climax, you're going to start seeing some chances for hail. We'll take a quick look at the parameter size for this one, about just under that 2 inches, what they did have for that severe thunderstorm warning across the area, and that's going to be moving its way into Red Oak, crossing Highway 48 into that area. So we'll zoom back out quick, and then we'll go back and see if there's any other severe thunderstorm warnings just yet, but not any at the moment. And then we'll keep taking a look here. We're starting to see some showers almost start getting into Winterset. Nothing on the severe level just yet, so not that hail, but starting to see some rain over in Winterset, St. Charles, crossing over into the I-35 corridor, Indianola here soon, Martinsdale heading as well. But you're starting to see some of the storms down in Missouri. They're going to start working their way up and start forming over here in southern Iowa. We'll take a look here down in the severe thunderstorm warnings in Page and Taylor. Here, this is just radar indicator. This is your basic one, hail size of about 1 inch, and wind speeds about 60 miles an hour, working towards gravity, crossing Highway 148. We'll take a look at what this speed is for this one. It's moving about northeast at 15 miles an hour. So this is a slow mover here. We'll get this set up. This is going to be until 5:15, so this one has about 12 minutes left, but about 5:17 Ladoga, 5:26 Gus, 5:29 Gravity, 5:54 Holt. That one is moving more on the slower end across that area, but nothing up north just yet. I think this is going to be a place that's going to be pretty limited, is northern parts of Iowa. I don't think there's going to be anything too severe until we head later into the night. Potentially a wind threat across that area, gust up to about 70 miles an hour. But right now, the big focus with the first bunch of thunderstorms that we're going to be seeing is going to be more southern Iowa. That's going to be the best chances for tornadoes and also the best chance for hail as well before we go more into a wind environment with storms that are forming over in Nebraska. That's going to work the way probably even past getting into midnight all the way until Sunday morning. It's going to push its way into the Iowa area and bring threats for that. But right now, the big threats are going to be hail and tornadoes for southern Iowa that could potentially move a county up into Dallas, Guthrie, Audubon County as well, potentially. So we'll just have to see where we get there when we get there.
All right, Logan, you and I.
Yeah, perfect. So we got Chris here. I'll introduce you. I'll put you up on there. Get you. There we go. We got Chris here.
How we doing, everyone? Get my microphone open. Is it? They might not have it in production. How we doing tonight? We're doing pretty darn good here in the studio, tracking these storms just starting to get going over southwestern Iowa. Right now, the strongest storm is over Montgomery County and pushing off to the east and north and east. This is a big hailer right around Red Oak right now. That's what we're concerned with. You see the radar warning is up to 2 inches in diameter. Just south of town is where I think that biggest risk is. At the moment. There's also just a little bit getting in there east of Clarinda as well. So that's Taylor County, another hailer there. So 2 severe thunderstorms we're tracking right now. Another little smattering extending further to the north and east. Closer just south of Winterset, south of Indianola, sub-severe though. There is a boundary right about Highway 34 that we're going to be watching as we go through the overnight, and as near this boundary we'd watch for maybe a tornado trying to spin up on us. We're not seeing that just yet, but given the setup we have, certainly something we're going to keep a close eye on. Also, as we continue on here through the evening, persistent heavy rains. There's been a signal near this front that we may see some training thunderstorms. And when we start talking about that aspect, we're going to be looking at big time rain totals. Now, still no clear winner exactly where that's going to be setting up for us, but we'd especially be watching the southern 2 tiers of counties in southern Iowa. I'd say based on the way things are going thus far, the development that we're seeing, there's even more on down to the south into portions of northern Missouri. So either side of the Missouri border, into the southern 2 tiers of counties in Iowa, and then also down into northern Missouri. And that's where we'd be watching for that heaviest rain threat continue to evolve. But we're going to be here as we go through the evening. Of course, we do have a show coming up at 6 o'clock where we will actually have to step away. We just can't dual coverage right now, but we will be letting our radar loop for you. And if there is a significant threat, of course, we will be on regardless as well. Logan?
Yeah, so talking about that rain that they were talking about earlier, Chris, we're going to take a look here. This is the excessive rainfall outlook. So this is about the percentage chance that we could be seeing some non-urban flash flooding. And they have put parts of southern Iowa, like Chris was talking about, those training thunderstorms, into that slight risk. So I was reading up on it, the Weather Prediction Center, they put about a 10% chance for some areas down there could be seeing up to 5+ inches of rain, which is quite a lot of rain in one single day. It would break some records across that area. Now, for that to really flash flooding per se with that too, the chances for about 10% for the 5 inches there across the area. But even north of that, we do have a marginal risk heading through all the way up to about Ames and Cedar Rapids and Carroll as well. So we have the chance, especially with just how dry we've seen, a lot of that dry, ground is starting to dry up, so it's a little bit harder for it to absorb that rainfall too. So that's something we're also looking through in that effects as well. Now, for what the Storm Prediction Center has said for its severe outlook, the biggest threat currently is over in parts of southern Nebraska, North Platte, but we are in this slight risk here for Des Moines, central Iowa, and even into western Iowa. Now, for the tornado threat, we're going to take a look. Here we do have that low chance, and it's going to be where that tornado watch that we've seen, so southern counties, but that's going to be the best threat for tornadoes, still on the lower side, but as we push above that I-80 corridor heading north, we're just going to have that very low threat as well. So that's why we do have that tornado watch ending at Warren, Madison, Adair, and Cass County. Now, for hail and wind, we'll take a look at hail here first. We do have that low chance, but still could get up to 2 inches, and the best chance is going to be that first round of storm to see the 2 inches of hail. And then for wind, that's going to be heading into later tonight. we do have that hatch set up, so there's going to be some chance for significant gusts. If you see those vertical black lines, we're still on the lower end for that, but gusts could get up to about 75, 80 miles an hour like we did see last night for the southern parts of Iowa, especially Red Oak got gusts up to about 75 miles an hour, something we're definitely going to look at there. And I'll head back to see if there's any new warnings across the area. Doesn't look to be just yet.
No, just looking off there west of Corning and down into Taylor County. So both watching for those hailers there.
Yeah, and that one is still considerable. That's in the National Weather Service Omaha side for Montgomery County. 2-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But we do have the other one that has worked its way over into the National Weather Service Des Moines. For still, see if we can get it popped up there. Still 1-inch hail for Adams County and 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Chris, is there anything that you're seeing over there?
I was just checking out here on the velocity side of things with that storm out into Montgomery County, south of Red Oak. Looks like there's a decently strong inflow signature here with this storm in the southern parts of the county approaching Highway 48. Not much for outbound though. Still kind of orienting the parameters here with the system, but that's the area we'd watch. And this is right along that boundary, that stationary boundary that is in play. That would be favorable for seeing something spin up. This is by far the strongest storm that we have right now for this evening, just outside the Local 5 area in southwestern Iowa. Watch for some hail, warning officially for 2-inch diameter hail, but I've been looking at some of the hail algorithms here just off screen, suggesting maybe something getting up closer to baseball size. So this is a really, really strong storm here. Of course, we want everyone to be safe here as we go through the evening. Right now, the threat for that hail, pretty localized down there. Logan?
Yeah, so talking about that hail too, I brought up the hail parameter here. Now near Red Oak, you're probably seeing some decent sized hail coming across on that side. So especially Hawthorne, you're probably just getting out of it right now. We'll take a look here in the middle where that pink is. 2.5 hail, and that's what the parameter in the algorithm is saying, up to about that, which is just about baseball size there. Baseball sized hail is considered 2.75 inches, but they were bringing around those same measurements of 2.5 inches. And there was another good-sized hail pit with that one near Taylor County here, just getting past Newmarket and heading into Hollyville. So we'll take a look here at the dark blues. Probably going to be about 1.5 inches, so just under golf ball size hail, and that's going to be just past Hollyville. So we'll take a look back here on the severe thunderstorm warnings, and we can see that hail core there with that pink shading across the area, heading into gusts and moving into almost Bushville here soon. Just onto Highway 148 through and 130th Street, that crossing, some chances for hail coming across there, but still have that considerable severe thunderstorm warning heading through Red Oak with hail size up to about 2 inches, even possibly pushing 2.5. And then that's mainly the bulk that we're seeing right now, but these storms are going to develop heading to probably past 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It's going to allow these storms to form, and this tornado watch is going to be here for quite a while. It's going to have another 6 hours, and that's going to be until 11 p.m. for tonight for these counties here for parts of southern Iowa. And it looks like they did put severe thunderstorm warnings for the rest of Nebraska heading into some 2 counties over, or 1 county over in Mills and Montgomery County for Iowa. Chris?
Okay, Logan, yeah, just getting everything set up here behind the scenes, so I haven't had a chance to really look at all too much since the last time I chatted, but we're continuing to see things build in and blossom up there, anywhere from Bedford up to about the Corning area, back to Red Oak on Highway 34, right where you see those deepest pinks, those brightest pinks, if you will, that's where that hail threat is. And you notice the warning is tagged there for 2-inch diameter hail. And I'm going to pull up the hail tracks here because I want you to see just how quickly this storm formed. We also had another one earlier in the eastern part of the county, and it faded away very quickly. That one has since moved off to the north and east in that storm motion. But right there in that deepest, most bright purple, that's where we're finding the signature there for some hail coming into view. Southwestern part there of Montgomery County. Notice the hail size here that's being estimated up to about 2 3/4 inches in diameter. So this is the storm to watch. And also going to be in that favorable place to see something maybe rotating around on it. So as we pull the velocity scene back up, this is one thing to watch. I'm actually going to move over to the Omaha National Weather Service radar site because it's a little bit closer. Still not a lot on the outbound here, but we'd be watching right on the south edge here between Red Oak and Coburg of something maybe trying to wrap around. We don't have many chasers in the area for today. Things a little more primed further to the west, but we do have a few that we're going to be keeping an eye on the stream here as we continue on through the evening, Logan.
Yeah, they just issued another severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Adams and Taylor County. This is going to be for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. We'll take a quick look at the track for this one as it pops up here. So it's going to be moving about northeast 20 miles an hour. So we'll take a look at when it's going to come across some of the cities like Holt here. In just a quick second, I'll drag this over. This is going to be until 5:45, radar indicated, so nothing is seen just yet. Now, a gust about 5:16 coming here in the next couple minutes. Bushville 5:31, so just after 5:30, and then 5:37 for Holt. And this is going to be until 5:45 for this severe thunderstorm warning with 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour gusts associated with this one here in Adams and Taylor County. But outside of that, we still just have the Red Oak storm that's considerable heading into Adams County and getting through Quincy there. Chris?
All right, Logan. Yeah, so that's an update on where we currently sit with that latest warning. Right over Red Oak, though, that's the stronger of the two. We're going to continue to watch these two build in, and this is going to be that corridor, I think, where we're going to start to see some extremely heavy rain rates come to fruition. We'll, of course, be watching that as we continue on through the evening. So things just starting to get going over southern and southwestern Iowa. There is a little bit more working its way to the north and east, just not a whole lot of substance with it just yet. There is a bit of that stationary boundary. As we mentioned, you move north of that, conditions a little less favorable to see the worst of the worst. So I think this is a Highway 34 and points southwards kind of night, where we're going to be watching the setup here very closely as things continue on. So that new warning in place, and that would be for 1-inch hail, you said there, Logan? Right?
Yeah, 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour gusts.
Looks like that one built up fairly quickly. Let me see here if I'm going to manipulate the radar here. I want to show you, if we can, the volume, the slice, because I think this one has built up pretty big in just a few short minutes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cross slice this or zoom in just a little bit. That's a little bit too much. Let me back out here. And volume scan coming in. Okay, so as it sits right now, we have the wrong color table in. Bear with me here as we go ahead and get this done. 1 second here. Okay, so there we have what I'd be looking to watch the hail with. And so this one it was a little bit stronger there as it was east of Clarinda. Went down, and now it's building back up, it looks like. So I'd be watching for maybe in the next 5-10 minutes that we start to see some of this hail core begin to fall back down just a little bit. I'm going to change the color table just a little bit more here. Only pinpoint see some of those magentas. You can kind of see that happening. So it's a little bit lower right here. Now it's starting to shoot back up with a new top. So this is the stage in this storm. It's building it up, making it bigger. I'll be watching for the next scan or so to see maybe some of this begin to drop, and that's where we'd really be watching for maybe a lot of hail coming out of that one. Logan?
Yeah, so we're starting to get our first couple batches of storm reports, especially associated with that Red Oak storm. Now we see this first one here that is at Red Oak. That's going to be for 1-inch hail as reported by amateur radio. And if we just head more east over into Stanton, the public was saying they were getting hail sized about quarters, but it has been reported for 1 inch as of now. And then just south of that, we have another report for a 1-inch hail just south of Stanton. So a couple reports with that, a considerable severe thunderstorm warning coming across the area. But they National Weather Service has not issued any new severe thunderstorm warnings just yet. We still just have the considerable one in Montgomery County and then the new one that was in Adams and Taylor County. That has been bulking up, like Chris showed earlier with that volume scan. Starting to see an impressive hail core there across the area. Now, in terms of what we're seeing here, the big picture, if you're joining just now, we do have a tornado watch for the corner of southwestern Iowa, just south of that I-80 corridor, and mainly west of I-35, but a couple counties heading east of I-35, and this is going to be until 11 p.m. They also said potentially they could add an extra couple counties more north if the storm trends start going more favorable up into the northern end. Chris, are you seeing anything new?
Just something I want to point out, and I saw it just off screen here. I have a secondary radar product just off my computer here. And you can kind of see the hail spike, and not kind of, you certainly can, irradiating out of that storm to the south and west. This is a clear signal that we do have some hail in there. A lot of it scattering that radar beam quite a bit, or some very large hail as well. So I'm going to go to CC here. We should see a nice little lowering associated with it, and we do. And that blue radiating out. Okay, that tells us that that's not actually rain or anything like that. It's non-meteorological, so that's a false return that's actually caused by that radar beam being scattered from a third body, is what we call it, that hailstone. It's kind of bouncing around, and it actually delays that radar beam coming back to the radar site in Des Moines. So when that happens, it displaces that color a little bit further out. And so one of those unique things that we're kind of looking for when it comes to it to see hail size. I'll say just on GR over here, we're estimating hail size up over 2 inches now. So heads up for that near Gravity. Logan, you know how fast this storm is moving?
Yeah, let me pick it right back
You check
up.
on it
Yeah.
right now, and just let me know, shout it out. Hail size here is being estimated up to tennis ball. 2.25 inches. So northwest of Gravity is
30 miles an hour moving northeast.
Okay.
There, Chris.
So we'll go ahead and track it. 30 miles to the north and east. Go ahead and drag that out for you. So this one's going to be near Holt at 540. Mercer by 551. Prescott at 602. And Cromwell 614. That would get it up into the Union County area if this one continues to hold. Now, sometimes things become a little bit more pulse-like in nature. We can see that hail rise in the fall, but this is a signature that we've been looking at here, building in the last 10 minutes, that has really showed us that there's potential for some big-time hail, Logan.
Yeah, they actually did just upgrade that severe thunderstorm warning up to 1.75 inches, which bumps it up into that considerable range. Still just radar indicated, but that sign you were talking about earlier, that TBSS, the 3-body scattering spike, that little mark that we're seeing right here back at the end, strong indicator that there is large hail either falling through that updraft or hitting the ground. So definitely what Chris was saying, get into your safe spot if you're not inside. Make sure to get inside. And we saw yesterday just 2-inch hail was busting through windows. So we're getting about to that size now with 1.75 inches where it's still a strong possibility. So you want to work your way inside to the middle of your house and stay away from any windows as well. Chris?
Logan, just doing a quick check here on the velocity signals, and we continue to see strong inbound winds, the updrafts with these thunderstorms, producing large hail. So I'm not surprised by seeing these bright greens. That signal of some winds moving to the north and east as we're sampling the radar site out of Omaha, and then south of Red Oak again. So that's the wind that's rushing into the thunderstorm, pushing those raindrops way up high, and it makes that hail bigger and bigger. So the stronger wind we have, the larger hail potential that we possibly could have. And I think the two are definitely correlated here for tonight. We're seeing the signal on radar for large hail. I'm not surprised here to be seeing a strong inbound wind signature. Now there is a little bit coming out outbound. That's the red moving down to the south and east as we're kind of looking at extreme northwestern Taylor County, so actually southeast of Villisca. And so we'd be watching maybe for some tightening up here in that if we're going to be concerned with a tornadic threat. Briefly, and there's a new scan coming in, it does actually looks like it's trying to tighten up just a little bit there. Actually, I don't think that's part of the severe warn cell, but something new that we'll definitely have to keep an eye on there, Logan.
Yeah, and they did
Cell, yeah.
drop another storm report for hail. This is going to be 4 miles north in New Market in Taylor County, Iowa, for 1-inch hail. So probably coming down the line here, could see some more hail reports coming across the area, potentially up to that 1.75 inches or even larger. But right now, nothing else new in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. We just have this tornado warning for southwestern Iowa. And then I don't know if you saw with that newest scan or if you want to give an analysis, Chris, on that.
I was just kind of giving it a look here south of Nottoway. So we're kind of in between, about equal distance from the National Weather Service, Des Moines and Omaha as that bounce across it. So the same general area we're watching, I kind of want to see a new scan here from Des Moines. Right in here, that's going to be the area to watch. This is now sampling the National Weather Service out of Des Moines as we're looking at some possible rotation in there. The Omaha site made it look a little bit tighter. Also an area out here that we're watching again with that other supercell thunderstorm south of Red Oak. There's the green moving to the north and east in this instance, and the red is pushing to the south and west. So a couple of areas to watch here, or very broad, but still strong when it comes to this one pulling out of Taylor County and up into, excuse me, where am I at? Montgomery County, right? Yeah, that's Montgomery County, I believe. Yeah, pushing to the north and east there with those storms. Logan, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, so they did issue a new severe thunderstorm warning. This one's a little hidden. It's going to be a little tough to find because they snuck it in between that considerable one here. That's just going in between Taylor and Adams County, just filling in that little block there. You can see that pink and purple right there. Still does some of that high reflectivity. They're giving this about 1.5 inches, so just under golf ball size, but still. The wind threat's going to be on that lower side as of right now with 60-mile-per-hour gusts. And we'll take a quick look and we'll scan and we'll get the wind speeds for this and when it could hit your area if you are watching this from that area. So this is moving about 25 miles an hour northeast. So let me get that set up quick.
Hey, Logan, real quick, just as you do it, you can keep it on you. I think this was a cell split earlier. So watch the left side for hail, watch the right side for possible spin.
Yeah, and then for people in this area getting into Nottoway about 532 and possibly about 545 getting onto about Highway 34 and across that area. We'll zoom back out again. So we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. Let me take a look at the Red Oak one back here if that one is getting into the tail end. Let me switch over into the other graphic for that quick. So this is going to be until 6 p.m. So this one still has over 30 minutes left. And that one is starting to intensify as well. Same thing with this considerable one down here until 5:45 for that 1.75 inch hail in 60-mile-per-hour gusts. We'll take a quick look at the hail parameter for that one. We're starting to see two clusters work their way across Highway 148, just sandwiching gusts in between. So I'll take a quick look at both of them, see what the hail size we could be seeing across those two areas. So 1.8 hail looks to be on the both sides, so just under that 2 inches, but still at that 1.75 for what it has been warned for those two areas, heading into Bushville, Holt, Highway 148 within next 10 minutes or 20 minutes, I will say. Chris?
Okay, Logan, I need you to keep it for a second. I had to reopen my show over here.
So we're going to take a look back here at, I'll get it loaded up with that tornado watch just so we can see that again in case you are joining. We do have a tornado watch for southwestern Iowa, just south of that I-80 corridor. There is a possibility they could add a couple extra counties and just north of that I-80 corridor, then mainly west of I-35, but they have a couple counties, including Lucas, Wayne, Warren, and Appanoose County heading into, and this is going to be until 11 p.m. And what the Storm Prediction Center has said for this tornado watch, they said the primary threats are going to be a few tornadoes are likely. A couple or a small amount could be on that intense side. If we have a very favorable environment, it's left isolated and pretty discreet, it's going to allow for it to build up, and scattered large hail is possible up to about 2.5 inches. So we're starting to see that 1.75 getting up almost near into that 2 inches, and then wind gusts up to about 70 miles an hour. So make sure you have a safe plan in case you are in a severe thunderstorm warning that is in the considerable range with large hail, as we've seen it bust windshields yesterday and windows in people's houses as well. So something definitely to keep looking at as of now. Now, there are no new severe thunderstorm warnings just yet. We're just watching a couple of them in southwestern Iowa in between Clearfield and Red Oak start working the way more into northwestern, northeastern Iowa, or moving northeast. So Creston, Greenfield, Messina, getting into the next half hour, next hour. Even after that, we're going to start seeing some more intense thunderstorms come across the area. Chris, is there anything else you're seeing just yet, or?
No, I'm just getting my show back up. And Logan, real quickly, can you mute our microphones so I can have an off-stream conversation with you?
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you all for waiting. So.
Yeah, I can take it now, Logan. Yeah. We have that tornado watch till 11. Could expand, as you mentioned. Back to the radar picture. I mentioned earlier to Logan about a cell split here. And I want you to watch, coming out of Taylor County, those two bright purple areas. So right here and right here, I'm actually going to back the radar up just a little bit. And you'll see it came from one storm, and the storm split. It's split into two. One thing to watch with the left mover, that is the left side of this becomes more hail oriented, though that said, it's moving into really unfavorable environment. But right now, I'd hazard to say there east of Liska, that's where we actually have the largest hail at the moment. And then with the rightmost one, you start to look for that turn to the right in that split. In that right mover, you watch for the spin coming into play. So more tornadic potential with this one over northern Taylor County versus the leftmost storm. So let's go ahead and take a look here as I get over to the velocity signal. And you can see it's a lot brighter. And so right over gravity, we're seeing some stronger circulation, and that's all coming into view just in the last couple of scans. So this is still fairly broad, but it's stronger. So north of Bedford here, this is going to be an area of interest that we're going to watch in the next few minutes, Logan.
Yeah, we're going to take a look. Chris was talking about earlier in the beginning of the stream, the chance for some heavy rain. It's something that we have to talk about hail, wind, and tornadoes a lot, but accumulating rain, especially day after day, could be leading to some flooding. So we're taking a look here at the rain rates from both of these storms. We're getting about over 3 inches, so a nice downpour across those areas for places that desperately, I would say, need rain. We haven't seen any in the beginning of May since yesterday, so overall good rain across these areas, pretty heavy soaking across that. Now, there was a new storm report that was over and back in Red Oak where we had that large hail. Emergency manager reports golf ball sized hail just outside of Red Oak to the southwest, and that was at about just a couple minutes ago that was reported. And besides that, nothing too else across the area. They did shorten that considerable severe thunderstorm warning. They have taken Red Oak out of that, has moved out, but it's still going to be until 6 p.m. and still considered considerable, and still has the 2-inch hail tag. And same thing down below, just southeast, for until 5:45 for Adams and Taylor County for 1.75 inches of hail and 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Chris?
Yeah, Logan, just coming over here, I'm checking out the shear detection. So this kind of nominalizes the rotation I was looking at on the velocity picture. And so you see that darker blue there right over gravity. That's that area of interest that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. Frankly, waiting for the next scan to come in, because this is definitely one area to keep a close eye on. I think we might have gotten it, and we do. So just watching things. And I'll go ahead and sample this for you. I'm going to sample that brightest piece of red. That's denoting a velocity of 40 miles per hour. Then we're going to get one of the greens right by gravity. That's 36. So we're seeing that rotational component over, I'd say, a couple of miles here, 75, 80 miles per hour. That's going to be whipping around fairly stout. So underneath this kind of feature, sometimes we get a look at maybe a bit of a wall cloud, a lowering, if you will. But this is kind of the early stages in tornadic development, something we're definitely going to be watching. Logan, does that warning have a tornado tag on it? That's
Yeah, I can take a quick look over on that for
Sure.
the storm there. Just a golf ball size hail, 60 mile per hour
Okay.
gust. Yeah, I'm not seeing a tornado tag just yet.
That's definitely the one to watch, though.
I will say, yeah, I agree with that too, Chris. That nice rotation coming across the area. Still, I'd say on the broader side there, Chris, for
Yeah.
that. Nothing too tight just yet, but just still seeing some strong hail. Chris, is there anything on your side quick?
No, and it just kind of, I was looking more at that velocity picture. And when Logan says it's broad, it is broad. We're going to be looking at bright and tight coming in is the way I like to say things. So when we're seeing those colors really peaking right next to each other. Logan?
Yeah, it looks like they're
like
going to
a new
be,
one.
they just added a new one for Adair, Adams, and Cass County. Let's let this one load in here. So this is going to be for 1.5 inch hail, radar indicated 60 mile per hour gusts. Let's take a quick tag on that, see if we can get the wind speeds and see when it's going to hit area. So moving north at 25 miles an hour. So load it up.
We got baseball size hail south of Red Oak. Did you see that?
I have not. Oh, I see that one came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.75 inches. It's about 5:45 Quincy, 6 p.m. on the dot Mount Etna, and then about 6:09 for Dewey for the severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to be ending at 6:15 p.m. for 1.5 inch hail and 60 mile per hour gusts for this one. Chris, do you want to show that that local storm report, or you got
I
something
sure can.
else?
No, you can pull it up here,
Yeah.
and I'll go back to what I'm on. Storm reports coming in. So one south of Red Oak, and it's going to be the furthest one south right there that just covered up. That's going to be baseball-sized hail reported from MPing. That's a reporting service that certain radar apps often use. So that's coming in baseball size. We were looking at that one, Logan, not too long ago and thinking, yeah, it could be up that big. I think I recall us saying our GR radar had some estimations up towards 3 inches. So looks like it did come to fruition there. Lot of hail reports, and unfortunately we're a bit contaminated. I don't have a 12-hour storm report setting saved, but some of those wind reports from last night still kind of showing up too. So kind of interspersed in between with a couple. What I was looking at right before we came over to me was that velocity signal. Once again, we have another scan coming in and continuing to watch down there near Gravity. That's a very strong inbound wind. So we'll see if this continues to tighten up between Gravity and Bedford. Right along Highway 148, we're looking at that wind, 57 miles per hour running inbound, and that's in contrast with about 40 miles per hour wind going outbound. Over about 4 or 5 miles in between now. So you can do the math with that. That gets you up close to 95 miles per hour rotationally. So we have the wind rushing in the wind rushing out. The two combined, that's where we see that swirl overhead. So definitely a storm level circulation that is worth watching. The biggest issue here would be is if we can get the brightest of the greens and almost those blues showing up right next to the reds. Right now they're pretty far apart. In fact, we have new data in here. I'll sample that blue because blue continues to climb the chain. That's 70 miles per hour now moving in, contrasted by 35 going out, sort of exceeding that triple digit mark. I would not be surprised if we start to see some more chatter on this slogan as we move forward.
Yeah, it looks like they did also issue a new severe thunderstorm warning just for Taylor County. This is going to be still another considerable tag with 1.75 inch hail, 60 mile per hour gusts. And you can tell here with a lot of that purple, with that pink and purple, good hail size coming across that area. But this is the new one just inside Taylor County. And we can see a pretty large area with good sized hail. Gravity, you're probably getting pretty good hail right now. Highway 148, 200th Street, heading into Post Avenue, County Road, N52. Chances for some hail coming across there. We'll take a quick sample into that area just east of Gravity, 1.7 inches. So just with that severe thunderstorm warning that they did warn, that does have that considerable tag coming across the area. Chris?
Yeah, Logan, just kind of watching here, the intensity of that wind inbound near gravity on the latest velocity signal. Let me get it up here on screen for you so you can show you. I don't quite have it yet. Actually, we do. This is it. It is actually an improvement from what it once was, but we'll sample it there, 54 miles per hour moving in to the storm, and still looks like to be in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range out. Broad but stronger circulation overhead there. This is crossing Taylor and getting up into Adams County now. Near gravity, between Bedford and gravity, the area watch. So this is radiating to the northeast or so. We'll go ahead and back things up a couple of frames so you can orient yourself with kind of the direction this is moving. So actually it's more due east. So this level of circulation is heading more due east at this point. So heads up southeast of gravity, Conway, south of Sharpsburg. I think that's where this circulation is going to end up going. And right now, really feeding in that hail potential with that strong updraft wind. Logan?
Yeah, something that I just want to take a look at. We're starting to see more storms cross over into more south central Iowa, more into Decatur and Wayne, starting to see some showers pick up there. Some of the parameters I'm seeing here on GR Analyst getting maybe about half an inch hail, so we could start seeing this one start to develop, working its way into the Iowa border. So this is going to be another section, I would say, Chris, to start thinking about if any more severe thunderstorm warnings might start coming out in this area, as we've seen here in southwestern Iowa.
Golf ball sized hail coming in out of gravity. So that's a new one that just popped up. Northwest of gravity, you see just off Highway 148. So that was reported via Storm Spotter in northern Taylor County. So we're seeing large hail associated with these very strong updrafts. I think hail plays a significant role here early on tonight. But more of a wind threat as things continue on before eventually we kind of rein ourselves into a cold pool. I think still we're looking at some heavy rain potential setting up tonight for a persistent period. And when that happens, it takes a lot of those hail and wind and tornadic threats away, and we start talking about more of a flash flooding risk. So hail's going to be more of a player in the initial onset. Same with tornadoes, but eventually that will be kind of handing off to more of a wind. Not to say there's not wind in some of these storms, but it will be more of a threat than the other two as we move on with time. Eventually, we're going to start talking about some rain taking over as the main threat, and too much rain is what I mean by that.
Yeah, and then we just want to get back to the bigger picture on what the Storm Prediction Center is really starting to see with these storms here. So we do have that slight risk for severe weather, mainly into that southwestern portions of Iowa. Now, we do have those other parts, especially more central Carroll, Des Moines, Ottumwa. That's going to be more probably heading into later tonight with that wind-driven threat that Chris was talking about, with the biggest tornado threat being right now for southwestern Iowa with that brown, which is associated with the low chance, but still a chance there compared to the very low, just heading in a couple counties more north and more east. So the biggest threat for tornadoes is what we're seeing right now, working its way across southern Iowa. But that wind threat is going to be more of Iowa, especially with that significant threat heading into later tonight, into early Sunday morning. But we still have the chance for some hail coming its way in, and with that low threat associated with southwestern Iowa across that area. And I don't think there's anything new just yet. No new severe thunderstorm warnings. We just have those considerable threats that we have just heading out of Red Oak and then still in Taylor and Adams County across that area. This one should be expiring here within the next 3 minutes. We still have that little one there, but that's going to be working its way out. But we still do have the severe thunderstorm warning heading into Cass, Adair, and Adams County until about 6 p.m. if we can get loaded here, about 6:15 for 1.5-inch hail. But I will say the biggest one we're looking at right now is that storm just passing through gravity. Chris?
All right, Logan, right now I have hail size dialed up here. This is our radar estimated just how large the hail will be. And we've heard from a few spots now running anywhere from golf ball up to, what was that, tennis ball size, 2.75?
Baseball.
That's baseball size. Back to the north and west towards Red Oak. So we're still continuing to see that. Two very robust updrafts sustaining these two cells. So north of Bedford, some tennis ball sized hail, and maybe something a little bit larger, teacup sized, as you move east of Villisca. south of Quincy. So this storm right here is running north across Adams County. This storm in Taylor County is moving about due east. South split, and I'm going to take the numbers off the screen. We'll back it up, and you'll actually see that these two kind of radiated from one point initially. So about 5:09, you see the split, and we're keeping two distinct storms, one moving due north and one moving due east. And still, let me see here, we still have a little bit of rotation, but the inbound wind has really toned it down. I'll show that to you here real quick. It was a lot stronger. Thankfully, it was very broad, but yeah, we certainly had some peaking wind in there for a few seconds, or a few minutes, I should say. Certainly still some storm scale rotation happening in there and worth watching there right over the central portion of Taylor County between Bedford and Gravity, but it is, again, very broad. Storm Prediction Center seems to like the idea of tornadoes tonight right along this boundary or just south into it. We move north of Highway 34. I don't quite see that being much of an issue, but there is a little bit of a stationary boundary in play over southern Iowa. And just along it and to the south, that's what we're going to have the best opportunity to see. Maybe something tighten up and spin on us just a little bit, Logan.
Yeah, and we'll take it back here. Starting to see some more rain and showers cross into that Missouri-Iowa border. Morgan, probably getting some decent rain across the area, working into Clio as well. Woodland, Highway 165. I wouldn't say no dangerous threats on I-35 just yet. Just a little pocket of shower between Oskaloosa and Van Wert, and on Highway 69 as well. We're just tracking these storms over in the southwest over the next couple minutes and hours as well, heading into later tonight. Still just those considerable tags on those two storms there. This one's until 6:15 for 1.75 inch hail, 60 mile per hour gusts. It is considered, the threat is considerable. And then the one behind, just almost getting into Adams County. That's going to be expiring here within the next 15 minutes, working its way through for 1.75 inch hail and 60 mile per hour gusts. Chris?
Okay, Logan. Yeah, I think the strongest storms right now are the two that resulted from that cell split, western Adams County and right over central and the northern part of Taylor County. Both of them moving two completely opposite directions right now and basically due east there at that cell near Gravity. I think the hail size here might even exceed that golf ball size, 1.75, based on the radar algorithms that we've been seeing with this. And the CC has been noting some pretty considerable drops in there as well. One interesting little tidbit, we might actually have some birds or other wildlife, dust, dirt kicked up right here. What this is going to be a weak echo kind of right between the storms. And so sometimes you can get wildlife trapped and kind of circling in there. And I believe that's what we're looking at with that lowering on CC. Anything that turns that color blue is not meteorological. So that's not rain. That's different size-oriented objects around in there, as you'd expect with that. With wildlife, they're all different size objects. Definitely some hail to watch there in Taylor County. This would be near Gravity now to Sharpsburg, that Conway area. That looks to be about where it would be radiating from as well. Since I'm on here, we'll go back to the velocity picture and get a look. Still some broad, strong rotation over here. It's going to need to tighten up before we start thinking significant impact from maybe a tornado warning with this. There is none at this point, Logan, unless it's completely changed in the last 60 seconds. But we're going to need that to tighten up a little bit before we start talking about that kind of threat. Hail is the biggest troublemaker at this point.
I agree. That's going to be the biggest threat for this evening's side of storms until we head into the late night is going to be the chances for some tornadoes, and then it's going to be heading into those hail threats as we've seen with these severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued. And some of the algorithms down near Lamoni heading into more Ringgold County could be seeing some hail about, right now it's saying about getting up to about 3/4 of an inch. We'll take a look at the hail parameter, see if anything's starting to develop down here. we're starting to see some signs, some sprinkles of some smaller hail that could be getting built up into what we've seen earlier today near Red Oak and heading into Gravity. So we'll take a look at some of these here just on that Missouri-Iowa border. It's about half an inch, getting up to that 3/4 of an inch area. So this is an area I would say to look out for here in the future into Lamoni, Ringgold, Decatur, Clark County, and then Wayne County as well for potential hail that could start to build up over the next half hour. Chris?
Okay, the Taylor County Storm GR just off screen is giving us hail size up to about 3 inches. So that's looking to still be quite robust. Tornado watch until 11 o'clock. We're going to continue to monitor, see if that needs to be expanded at all. On the live streams, I've been seeing a couple of questions asking about the Knoxville races, and unfortunately it doesn't look all too promising. In fact, if I'm an event organizer there, I'm probably going to throw in the towel right now. You just have too much out there to the south and west, and it's all radiating north and east. So to be able to skirt through, just find any sort of rain is going to deter that event from happening. So not looking all too likely there, unfortunately. That news development in southern Iowa, so you get out down there into Decatur and Ringgold County, down into Wayne County as well, all sub-severe. It's this storm that has the arrow with that considerable tag. That looks to be the strongest right now, not only from the rotational aspect of it, but especially from the hail with it. So 3-inch estimations coming in our radar software. And I would say we're probably still hitting that, starting to see that red color showing up, and I believe that's when we start talking about maybe baseballs coming into fruition. And it is 2.75 is the latest on the estimation there. That's going to be a couple of miles north and east of Gravity. And just peering off screen, I don't see any new reports with this one, but that's not to say it's not happening in there, Logan.
Yeah, I said the big thing about that, I was just taking a look back at the severe thunderstorm warning, Chris. That thing is only moving 10 miles an hour east, so it's just going to keep dumping hail and hail over across that area. So places for any windshields or windows as well, take a look and watch out for that. Make sure you get inside into the middle part of your house and make sure you have no windows in the room that you are currently in, because with that slow-moving storm, we're just going to see that hail start to dump out across the area. And Chris was showing earlier, it's parameterized up to about 2.75 inches, which is baseball-sized hail. So something to keep looking out for there. Chris?
There we got it, 2 miles north of Gravity, 2-inch diameter hail. So that's getting up there. We're getting north of golf ball sized. So golf ball is 1.75 inches in diameter, and that news report coming in there from just 2 miles north of Gravity of up to 2 inches in diameter. Logan, I know we have a show coming up here, so we're going to have to get this onto some looping radar for you. We're going to continue to track things here behind the stream, keeping the streams going, and if there's a significant threat, we'll jump back on here as well as Local 5. But we are going to get into a newscast coming up, so Logan, give us your final thoughts, and then we'll get it going to the loop.
Yeah, just right now, it's just that hail. So make sure you have a safe place in case any of these storms do get into your area, heading into Union, Ringgold, Adair, Madison, Clark, and Decatur County over the next half hour that could start developing. If you have, make sure you have your safe place that you can get to, and always make sure you have a way to receive severe weather alerts, whether it is joining into Local 5 news or a National Weather Service alert. And make sure you just have a place of plan in action in case any of the severe hail or wind or tornadoes do come over into your way. But we'll start getting this looped onto our 24/7 radar, and we'll be back with you most likely after the show.
We're blowing out your show. Yep. Turn the mics back on now. No, I was talking to Logan, but yeah, go.
Yep, we should be back online.
All right, tornado warning, folks.
All right, we do have a tornado warning. If you are checking back in here now, this is going to be, and for Taylor County, radar indicated 2-inch hail for this one here. Let me get this dropped up here.
Yep.
for just in between gravity as well. It's going to be until 6:30 p.m. Let me get, this is going to be moving about 6:30 p.m. We're going to be seeing about 6 miles north of Bedford. That could be capable of producing a tornado and is nearly stationary as well. So not a lot of moving with the storm here. Is moving east of about 10 miles an hour. So we'll take a look here. Move this to about 10 miles an hour across. We'll see where this could start moving its way. Gravity about 544. And then about 6:33 into Conway, which is past our area.
Logan, pause. We're going to go linear. Just greet us and go.
Hey everyone, meteorologist Logan Shalom here, joined in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Kubal. We do have a tornado warning. Radar indicated. We'll bring this up for you here. This is going to be until 6:30 p.m. Radar indicated rotation. Hail of up to about 2 inches in diameter. But this is going to be until 6:30. The thing about this is it's moving nearly stationary, so it's not moving across a lot at all. Chris, do you have anything?
Logan, these slow movers, right, they're very difficult here. There's 2 areas we've been watching pertaining to the velocity picture here. Thanks for joining us. We're likely going to stick through for Local 5 at 6 o'clock, at least until this threat diminishes. We've been watching this broad-scale circulation between Bedford and Conway over Taylor County. The greens moving to the north and east, the reds moving south and west. But what I think got this warning going is for this little circulation here near the gravity area. So we have that little bit of a green moving to the north and east and that red moving away. This circulation, while stronger, is broad. This one is tighter. And as we do move over to add in the warning and introduce that, watch that same spot. That is where we have the warning in place, rating through here. I did look back through the data. That was a little bit of a tighter spot in there. This is getting the radar indicated tag. So anyone within the red shading, particularly around gravity right now, but this does include up through Sharpsburg and just to the west of Conway, you need to be seeking shelter, lowest level, most interior room. This little bit of a circulation, that lowering of the data, the reflectivity, is where we're watching, though there is some storm level circulation further to the south and west. And we'll continue to watch that one too, because it doesn't really take much to get things wrapped up and tighten up in there. So a slow mover. Logan, remind me how fast this one is moving. 10?
When I was checking previous to that severe thunderstorm warning, 10 miles an hour, but this one's not even giving any movement. It's just saying nearly stationary.
Okay, well, I do think there's a little bit of an eastward component in here, so we'll go ahead and get the track revved up at 10 miles per hour, but this is not a fast mover. We're going from that lowering that is in there. So this is highly zoomed in over Taylor County. You can see a couple of communities in view here. With this one. So this would be near Conway all the way by 6:32. So the depth, the length of this tornado warning is kind of built for that 10 mile per hour speed with that expiration at 6:30 and entering Conway just outside of it at 6:32. Logan, let's talk about kind of all the threats that we've had out here for today. We've seen some big time hail. Let's talk about that aspect here for a moment.
Yeah, so we're looking at the chances for that hail as well. We've seen some of these severe thunderstorm warnings are in that considerable tag as well. So 2-inch hail. We saw reports up to baseball-sized hail over in Gravity as well. So the biggest threats that we're seeing for this first round of storms that's in southwestern Iowa heading to southern Iowa is going to be these really large hail that could get up to about baseball sized and chances for tornado. That's going to be the primary threats for these storms that we're seeing coming across the area right now. But over time, as these storms start to work their way out and heading into the next round of storms, that's going to be primarily a wind threat. That could be getting up to about 75, 80 miles an hour as well. Now, Chris, I think I did see a little report there via the Spotter Network that there was a tornado from a trained report there. just
was
1 mile
wondering-
southwest of Gravity.
All right, go ahead and bring it on over to. I was wondering why we got this warning, especially considering the strength of the velocity signal. We were looking to the south and east of that area. So that makes sense here. And I'll read that report verbatim. A couple minutes ago, we did have a confirmed tornado near Gravity in Taylor County. It is lifted, but a funnel cloud is persisting that could easily rematerialize. So it sounds like we did have a brief touchdown. So it's getting the radar indicated because it's lifted back up, but we're still kind of monitoring. However, and now it appears that this did have a history, and it's stemming from that area that I mentioned, not the big, large, bright circulation, but what's happening right about in here. And it's not much. I'll actually back it up. Logan, did it give a time? It did not, but we were about 5-6 minutes ago. I'll back it up just a little bit and show you. Hasn't been all too much. This was probably when it was its strongest, right here at Gravity. So there's that secondary little bit of it's a dark green, which denotes a lighter wind, but this is probably when it was at its strongest and probably what garnered that warning. And now as we advance it out to time, and I say this one is moving very slow, maybe only 5-10 miles per hour, it's on the better trend, I should say. One thing we are seeing is over Conway, it looks like it might be trying to shrink in on itself just a little bit. Wouldn't you say, Logan?
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Just start seeing that rotation that I see on your screen there too. There's still some higher winds across that area, but we do have that tornado warning. That's still going to be here until 6:30, so we will be with you here until that either expires or as we start seeing more, we'll still continue with you there. So that's going to be until 6:30 for Taylor County. So get in your safe space now if you are inside this tornado warning, and even into Sharpsburg, and I will say Conway as well, and Merle Junction. Get into your safe place, whether that is your basement or the lowest room, or if you don't have a basement, get into the most middle part of your house and make sure that you do have no windows in that as well there. Chris?
All right, Logan, we are officially into Local 5 news at 6 o'clock. We're tracking two distinct storms. These two cells initially were one, and it went through a cell split is what we call it. So the leftmost moving one is moving due north. That's over western Adams back into Montgomery County. And then this rightmost one is moving, radiating due east over Taylor County. Now, typically what we're looking for in this kind of a scenario, lifting north, this becomes the hail-dominant storm, though it did move into kind of a more unfavorable environment to sustain itself. Still have that severe thunderstorm warning over Adams County. The rightmost one typically turns into that tornado-producing storm, and that has come to fruition here. Right now, I think it has the largest hail as well, and we did receive a 2-inch diameter hailstone report out of Gravity, and now most recently, and this was officially, it looks like just to the south. Let me pull up the storm reports here, and we should have it. It looks like we have a second one. I don't know if that's a correction or not. I'm seeing this for the first time. So there's that report at 5:51. And then just south, it looks like we have another one at 5:54. Very well could have been the same tornado given the time frame, the proximity of those two reports, not only spatially and for timeliness as well. Sometimes watches are a little bit different, right? And we don't quite get the exact time. So in that same vicinity, perhaps this was down twice, but still we've had that storm circulation now producing two tornado reports and at least one that has confirmed to touchdown for us, Logan.
Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, that one was, that second report was just 1 mile southeast in Gravity in Taylor County, Iowa, and the first one was 1 mile southwest. So it could have been the same one as well with those reports there. And in terms of hail, we're starting to see a lot of that hail threat not get into that purple color we're seeing here. It might be on that downward trend as we're getting to the end of that severe thunderstorm warning here. We'll take a quick look though here, about 1.2 inches of hail just north in Conway as well. Then in Vasilla, we're seeing about 1.2 inches with that severe thunderstorm warning over in that area. But that hail size here, this is the larger one that we're definitely seeing and focusing on with that tornado warning across that area there. Chris?
Yeah, sure, Logan. And the latest on the velocity picture coming into view here, and it's still pretty muddled and washed out. Here's that latest signal I wanted to watch. I think now we're going to continue to watch not only that threat near Gravity, but also what's going on near Conway. You see that shearing there? It's a little bit brighter back and forth in that location as well. So I'm just going to sample it here for you briefly. 30 miles per hour heading in, and that 55 mile per hour gate shear, 58 mile per hour gate-to-gate shear. So that's getting pretty tighter. Oftentimes you hear us talk about being bright and tight, and what we're looking for is those bright colors, the bright greens, bright reds, blues and whites kind of right next to each other. We call that gate-to-gate shear when that's happening. It looks like we're seeing that shearing effect along a longer line, not quite peaking in there. This does fall outside of the scope of that tornado warning that's back there over northern Taylor County, but something we will continue to monitor as we move forward. Joe?
Yeah, we'll take a look back here. They did issue a new severe thunderstorm warning for Adams and Taylor County. This one's still going to be in the considerable, but it's in the line behind that we're seeing with this severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning, and just a little more on the northwestern side. And we're starting to see chances, we'll zoom in here just a little bit more, 1.75 inch hail, so that golf ball size hail does have that considerable tag included as well, and wind gusts up to about 60 miles an hour. It looks like there might be another one. Yep, they extended this the one in front of the tornado warning for Ringgold in Taylor, Iowa. Good size one too, and it does have that considerable tag. We'll let this one load in here. This is actually bumped up to that 2-inch hail, so we're still starting to see that strong hail there. Considerable threat, wind gusts of about 60 miles an hour. So we'll get this one tagged for you and see just in the location that we could be seeing. It's moving east at about 20 miles an hour, so we'll get this drug here, and we'll see when it's going to be hitting those areas. But we're just going to be starting getting past Highway 125 here soon. And looking ahead, Clearfield 618, so about the next 10 minutes. Malloy 629, Benton 636, and then at Diagonal about 6:39 p.m. So this severe thunderstorm warning is going to be until, let's get this zoomed in here, 6:45, and it does have that considerable tag with 2-inch hail. Chris?
Yeah, it looks like Logan here just off screen. I'm looking with the National Weather Service chat. Evidently, there is some chaser in there that has a funnel condensed out and kind of roped out, if you will. Don't have privy to actually show that to you, but that is out of that storm near Gravity. Evidently, a couple of brief touchdowns, at least one, I should say, a brief touchdown, but a couple of reports coming in of a tornado south of Gravity. That tornado warning has gone away, so those of you in the back, we'll go ahead and prep to pick up our regularly scheduled Local 5 broadcast, and you just let us know when we're ready to go, and we'll fill the time until we are ready. But yeah, as we're looking at this, that new warning, hail is definitely the biggest issue at this point. We had that brief spin. We're watching that broad scale, stronger rotation there into Taylor County as well, and we'll continue to watch this storm in particular. It's warned for 2-inch diameter hail at the moment. Logan?
Yeah, so still does have that considerable tag, that tornado warning Chris talked about, that it was canceled. That's no longer a threat with that rotation across that area. We're just now left with a couple considerable severe thunderstorm warnings across portions of southwestern Iowa in Clearfield and heading into Creston. So we're starting to get into that I-35, almost getting up to the I-80. So we're staying within that range there for severe hail, getting up to about 2 inches in diameter. So just under baseball size hail, which we did see earlier today, and we have seen reports of golf ball size hail across associated with these severe thunderstorm warnings. So just for the hail, make sure that you are within the most inside part of your home, and make sure there are no windows. We've seen hail size start getting around the golf ball size, start destroying windows and windshields. So if you are driving, make sure to get somewhere safe if you can, especially if you're heading alongside Highway 34, Highway 169, since these storms are going to be crossing those corridors here soon. And if you're within any areas in these severe thunderstorm warnings, you're going to start seeing some good hail drop down across that area. It's taking a look here just south of Lenox and east of Gravity. Inside Conway right now, you're probably seeing decent hail across that area. We'll take a look at this pocket here near Merle Junction, Tennessee Avenue, 1.7 inches, just south of 170th Street, heading into Clearfield here soon at any moment. Some chances for hail, so make sure you get into your safe place and have a safe way to receive any alerts. That is not a tornado warning as well. So whether it's the National Weather Service, us, or any other option, make sure you have ways to receive warnings and make sure you have that safe place there. Chris?
Logan, yes, still an area of circulation that I am monitoring east of Gravity. This is not the original circulation that produced a brief touchdown of a tornado. We do have access to that picture, but as we're getting to show, Logan, we'll work to get that into your show that we can show that for you. This is broad rotation, but strong rotation over eastern Iowa. Watch for those brightest colors to maybe come together a little bit. I do have a bit of concern in that area, and we'll continue to monitor that. And here's that latest scan update, and it does look like some of that brightness is coming together. Logan, I'm going to send it, we're going to send it now into Local 5 News at 6, and we'll be back with more coverage. put a track on this for you, moving a little bit faster than that last circulation was, and moving to the east here at 25. So you're going to see the communities pop up on screen, and Benton, this one will be near you at 6:31. 6:47 in Mount Ayr, Kellerton, should this continue to hold outside of the scope of that warning area. 7:10, this would also include Mount Ayr. That would get closer to the 7 o'clock hour, but that area of circulation kind of tucked away in there. And I'll go back to that here briefly. Well, you get set, Logan. You just tell me when you're ready to go so I don't toss it to you early. But that area we're watching, it's been very persistent. It's basically right there on the county line right now, perhaps just a little bit back to the west, to say west of Highway 25. But we're watching the cross section, these two areas here, where the green is moving to the north and east, the red is moving away. This is the velocity, so how those particles are moving in that thunderstorm. And we're seeing that broad rotation. In fact, the areas that I'd really be watching, about right here and right here, those are the two areas that are the tightest at this particular moment. And we did have it briefly spike. That's what prompted the warning right there. So as you see on your screen, I'm looking at this data for the first time. So that's what's prompted the warning. Basically just to the west of Highway 25 and north of Highway 2. So we kind of zoom into the street level. Area we'll be watching is basically right around 230th Street, and as that would pick up and continue on to the east as Highway 2. So some of the cross sections there, Winchester, Yellowstone Avenues, it would be in this area. So getting into the eastern reaches of Taylor County, very large scale, storm scale circulation with a brief tightening in there. And that's what we look for, that bright and tight circulation. Logan?
Yeah, we'll take it back over into where I am right now here at the studio. We do have that tornado warning, like Chris was saying, till 7 p.m. That just did cut into our show here, but this is going to be for that Ringgold in Taylor County. 2-inch sized hail included with this as well. And behind that broader picture, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in the considerable range that is going to be for Taylor, Ringgold, Union, and almost into Adams County. But we're starting to see that severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be for 2-inch hail across that area as well. Now we'll take a look here at the hail, back at it, heading into Clearfield, just south of it, and crossing into Highway 25, and just a little bit north of Highway 2. We'll take a tag here and check what the hail size could be, around 1.3 inches. So it's probably going to build up over time, but we do have that severe thunderstorm warning coming across that area, and also including that tornado warning just south of that for Highway 2, going across that for that radar indicated tornado with some rotation. Chris?
All right, Logan, yeah, so the tornado warning continues to be top of mind here. We have that very strong broad scale circulation as we pass 617 on this Saturday evening. We've also had some issues from some large hail. In the booth, Cody, if you can pull up that tornado picture sent in Teams, that would be great. Get that one worked up. And I'll also pass along another very large hail report too. Baseball-sized hail near gravity. So a 1-2 punch out of gravity with a tornado and some very large hail in the vicinity. So Taylor County is where we have this strongest storm right now. Tornadic circulation appears to be cutting its way eastward into Ringgold County. This is radar indicated, but also you see that hail size indicator down there, 2 inches outside of that purple shading. So crime writing just to the north and west of that tornadic threat. That is where we're finding the hail coming to fruition. Just looking off screen here, here's the way the velocity picture looks at this point. I'm thinking, so let me get my pointer. I'm thinking this is more of a false return where we're looking for that rotational component is still right about the Highway 25 corridor, right on the county line. That's going to be that area of interest that we watch. But when this one got warned, right here, that signal, that was 82 mile per hour gate to gate shear. So that's getting up to a pretty strong signal when it comes down to it for a tornadic signal. Right next to each other, those individual pixels, if you will, on the radar site, really picking up on that very, very well. So some of the smaller communities in line, Malloy, Benton, need to pay attention to this, Delphos, and then eventually on down the line closer to Mount Ayr, kind of behind me here. So area south of Clearfield, you see that cyan, that light blue color popping up here? That was that signal, that shear detection showing us that's where we have that big rotation. So just north of Highway 2, about ready to meet up to it where it turns back to the east on Highway 25 and heads towards Mount Ayr. That's where we currently have that bit of rotation. Logan?
Yeah, in some places, we're going to take a look here for places that could be into this tornado warning here. So getting into Mount Ayr about 6:35 p.m. And then for the airport around there, 6:40 p.m. Some other places that could be impacted, Delphos, Malloy, and Benton as well for this tornado warning that expires at 7 p.m. That is moving about 25 miles an hour eastward into this area. That's going to be alongside Highway 25 and Highway 2. So it is important that if you are within this warning, you go into your safe spot now, whether that is the most interior room of your house, if you have no basement that's not associated with any windows, or if it is your basement down there. But make sure to take action with your area now. Chris, do you see anything else?
Just want to show you briefly, and is this on the web PC here? Okay. All right, well, we can't show it on the stream, but we are showing it on Local 5 here. This is as that tornado report was lifting, as we had a tornado report back near Gravity, and you can see this is that rope out phase where it was actually going back up into the clouds there. It looks to be a hefty little appendage hanging down there from that, but we at least have one confirmed touchdown from that area. This is a completely different circulation as we come back out to me now, the completely different area of circulation that we are watching between Blockton and Clearfield here. A little bit of a tightening there, just right on that intersection of Highway 25 and Highway 2. So that's where we're watching with this latest data. And this is moving to the east. I even say it's a little bit slower. Excuse me, Logan, then maybe that 25 miles per hour, the warning is saying. I'm not seeing a lot of movement right now out of this couplet.
Yeah, I can see, moving a little bit on that slower end. They did put that's probably in the beginning of the warning, but it has probably slowed down since, but still going to be here until 7 p.m. for that rotation coming across the area. But right now, earlier we did see some more tight rotation, but it has broadened out a little bit. But we're still seeing some lighter reds and almost getting into those lighter greens for those colors for that rotation. So still some broad rotation associated with this storm, but just not the tightness that we need in order to form a tornado, I'd say, Chris.
1 second here, Logan.
We'll take a look back out now at the warning across the area. So it's going to be for that portion of southern Iowa heading into Benton and Mount Ayr, Highway 169, Highway 25, probably getting across that area now. Benton and Malloy will go back into the velocity here, see where it's going to be moving across into the area. So probably just getting over into Highway 2 within the next couple of minutes. So Malloy, Benton, Mount Ayr get into your safe spots. Delphos as well get into your safe spots. Bedford, you'll be on the good end there, but we'll take a look back out as well across the area. But if you know anyone in this area, especially driving on Highway 25 or Highway 169 or Highway 2, make sure that they have a safe place that they are able to go. And we do also have that strong risk for hail size as well, getting up to about 2 inches in diameter for any hail potential across with the severe thunderstorm. That is also tagged with considerable as well. So we have this tornado warning that's radar indicated until 7 p.m. And we also have the severe thunderstorm warning for considerable size hail getting up to about 2 inches and wind speeds of around 60 miles an hour. Chris?
Between Blockton and Clearfield, right on the county line, that's where we're watching, right where 25 and Highway 2 meets up. We're waiting on the next scan to get to you. I'm looking at it just off screen here. And it does look like it's broadened out just a little bit, but continue to be in your safe place, right in that vicinity, right on Highway 25, Highway 2, right where Highway 2 turns back to the east towards Benton and eventually the Mount Ayr area. This is that circulation that's prompted the most recent tornado warning. And look back to the west, there's a couple of smaller circulations in here as well. Once again, back to the west towards Gravity, they've already had a tornado touchdown for the day. And then southwest of town, there's also some small circulations in there. I'm told we do have another picture that we can show you. Logan, let's go ahead and pull up the web PC if we can as well. And that, excuse me, just keep it Just keep it on us, Logan, that's fine. This is baseball-sized hail out of gravity. So we've seen some very large hail here come to fruition out of these storms tonight. So multifaceted threat. As we continue on right now, we're most concerned with what's happening as far as the tornadic circulation there as it crosses into Ringgold County. I do want to say there's also some additional storms popping over southern Iowa, Wayne County right now. Solid shield of heavy rain, subsevere, some small pockets of hail are in there. The strongest, most robust storms have been out here over southwestern Iowa over the last couple of hours. That's where we have that tornado warning now pushing to the east into Ringgold County. Latest scan is in, so why don't I show that to you on the velocity picture. It looks like this one will be rain wrapped. This circulation that we're looking at, fairly deep and into the rain. This is still that old piece of data, and that's going to be about 6 minutes old now. We're due for another one here, and there it is. It does broaden out a little bit, still strong as far as speed, but it's more on a wide scale at this point. Logan?
Yeah, there was a recent report here that we're going to take you over into Appanoose. There was in Plano, 3 miles south-southeast, for dime to nickel-sized hail, so about 0.88 inches in diameter. So we're starting to see the storms over east of I-35 start to strengthen. Potentially could be seeing some more hail across that area, but still right now it's just some strengthening over in these storms in southern Iowa, just south of Clearfield as well in Mount Ayr, with those chances for, with the tornado warning radar indicated up to about 2 miles an hour. But taking a look back at the velocity for that, we're starting to see more broad rotation, not as tight as we once see in the beginning of that tornado warning, but still strong rotation coming across the area. And it's going to be moving its way here along Highway 2 as of now, Benton, Malloy, Delphos, Mount Ayr. Make sure you are in your safe spot, whether that is the most interior room if you don't have a basement, or if you go down into the lowest level that you possibly can as well. Chris?
Logan, yeah, as I take a look at the shear detection for it, show you the most recent on that, the recent scan, it's back just a little bit from the previous scans, which were a little bit more potent. I'm going to show you the last 30-minute history of this product, the shear detection. You see, briefly, we got into that light blue, and that's when we saw that tornado warning be prompted. Additional areas of circulation within this storm trail all the way back through Taylor County towards Gravity, where we did have a couple of those, at least one reported touchdown. And we have that image as well that we shared with you a few minutes ago. The leading edge of that circulation now is getting into Ringgold County. I would go ahead and say anyone that is back into Taylor County can come out of their safe places. We're now looking at that area of circulation there, moving along Highway 2, maybe just to the south of it, about the 110th Street region. Anywhere about Highway 2 to 240th, I would say, is where that area of rotation looks best at the moment. So just east of the bend at Highway 25 and Highway 2, that's where we're looking at, Logan.
Yeah, we'll take a look back here, just the broader picture. Outside of the rotation, we do still have that severe thunderstorm warning behind that, and that's going to be for that 2-inch hail coming across the area for Ringgold and Taylor County, for that considerable tag for 2-inch hail, but we do have that tornado warning across that area heading through Highway 25 over into Highway 2. So within those areas, I'll bring up velocity right here, our product. We'll bring it in. So yeah, Highway 2, Benton, we'll get down to 240th, 125, 110th, 120th, 130th Avenue, 240th. Make sure you get into your safe spots. County Highway 27. And getting into Benton as well. Make sure you are in your safe spots here now across that area. And we'll take it back to Chris.
All right, Logan, yeah, and just another aspect I want to focus on as we go into tonight. Thanks for recapping the latest on that one. We'll talk a little bit about how things evolve from here on out. Watch Highway 34 and point southwards. Heavy rainfall signal here with a stationary boundary that is in play. That's where these storms are forming. You can see on the excessive rainfall outlook over southern Iowa, that yellow shading that gets up into that slight risk. But that's a concerning risk, and started heightening the awareness of that this morning, that we could see some potential flash flooding from storms if they continue to rain over the same areas. We call it training when it comes to the thunderstorms. Already, excuse me, I've flash flood warning down into northern Missouri, and you can kind of see everything elongating over the southern part of Iowa. Now I'm going to loop it here over the last 3 hours, and you see how everything has blossomed. I think we're keying in between the Missouri border and Highway 34 as being that area to watch for excessive rainfall as we move through the next couple of hours. As we continue to fill in here, I think we start to lose a lot of the hail risk and tornado risk, and we start deviating the concerns more so towards flash flooding concerns as time goes on here for tonight. But for now, that tornado warning, it's illuminated into that red color. That lasts until 7 o'clock. It is radar indicated, latest adjustment on the hail size up to golf ball size. But it does look like there's other pulses being possible. And then we still have a severe thunderstorm warning out here, northern Taylor, getting into Adams County as well. That's going to be another significant hailer with some big time size on that. I believe that warning is out for 2-inch diameter hail. But these two storms, originally they were the same storm. Cell split, and we saw that rightmost one, the one that currently has the tornado warning on it, become tornadic, and the leftmost one has been hail dominant, and that's typically the case in here. All right, I've been talking enough about that. Let's analyze the data here. Looks like we still have a pretty strong circulation showing up, but it is not right next to it. You can kind of see that gray color, if you will, sneaking in between the two. The more we get in between, that's better. It keeps that circulation on the broad side. But here's that latest scan. Logan, to me, that looks like that's tightening up a little bit. Let's sample some of these colors here and see what we're dealing with. I'd say we're close to 60 miles per hour south of Malloy, sampling at 52 miles per hour, looking at that as an absolute value, not with a negative, just to note which direction that wind is going. And then we're contrasted by 56 the other direction. So this is 100 to 110 miles per hour we're dealing with here. And let's just go over the distance we're talking here, over about 4 miles. So that's a pretty strong rotation, albeit over 4 miles. That's the concern we have here. We do have a couple of chasers out, but no one streaming that we can pick up that we're associated with. But we do have some folks out there on this storm, and no doubt we're going to hear if there is something significant that is ongoing. Logan?
Yeah, so they did take, we'll take back to the tornado warning here. They did take out Taylor County for that, so if you are in Taylor County, you are good to come out of your safe space. Just still stay inside for any chances for some hail with those storms behind it. But still for Ringgold County, we still do have that tornado warning until 7 p.m. We'll take a look back here at the rotation. Like Chris said earlier, those colors are starting to brighten up. We're getting a little bit closer, but still more on the broad end, I would say, for any potential tornadoes. Just still see that rotation there. And take a look back here. Severe thunderstorm warning, actually. We'll take a look back at the rotation, see if for our shear detection here, if anything's starting to come up. We still see on the weak side, so maybe if it starts to tighten more, we'll start seeing that go up and potentially form a tornado again. But right now, we're still seeing some pretty weak and broad shear across that area. Chris?
But it extends up through the column here, Logan, and that's a sign that this thunderstorm is rip-roaring and really taking hold. This is extending up several thousand feet where we're seeing that clear rotation. So I'll just go ahead and show that to you. Anyone in the red shading continues to seek shelter. That does include either side of Highway 2 by 4-5 miles north and south, and then east towards Mount Ayr. So heads up for that. This is one of the more perky signals that we've seen as of late, wouldn't you say here, Logan?
Yeah, I would definitely agree there with that, Chris.
All right, let me go ahead and I'm going to tilt the radar picture up. So what's happening here, I'm not going back through time, I'm actually tilting the radar picture up. And we're getting up significant now, and you can still see that area of rotation. Now it's starting to turn directions on us as we get in the extreme upper levels of the thunderstorm. But you'd expect that. We have the winds changing direction with height. But this area of rotation is holding its own. It's very strong really throughout the entire thunderstorm. And when we're seeing that, that gives us that increased risk for a tornado at the surface. Logan?
Yeah, so they just one of the National Weather Service people just said something. So they say they still have a few strong storms slash supercells slowly moving east through Taylor, Adams, and Ringgold counties. The tornado warned storm is still showing broad rotation as it heads towards Mount Ayr. Additionally, they're still expecting some hail of about 1 to 2 inches with a few of these stronger cores that we're seeing within these severe thunderstorms warnings. Chris?
Okay, Logan, so we continue with this tornado warning. Anyone near Benton needs to continue to be in your safe place. That is where we're looking, that area of rotation back to the west towards Malloy is where it's lining up. So this is rain wrap. Don't get the impression that you're going to be able to get out there and see much of anything, so you keep an eye on where that is. Actually, the best area of rotation now is kind of right on that southern edge of the bounds of this tornado warning. So I'd continue to issue Malloy and Delphos to continue to be in your safe areas here on the southern edge of this one especially. That looks to be where the greatest risk is, kind of right where we have these weaker echoes. This is where that wind is feeding up into this storm, and the darker shading, the reds, that's where it's coming down and around. That's that downdraft circling around. So this is going to be solidly into the rain, but this would be that region we're watching kind of right on the southern edge of this tornado warned storm. And just to go back here, we'll show you the velocity picture once again. I want to see if this is kind of turned more to the right. I think it has. Wouldn't you say, Logan? It's turned more right in the last few scans. So I'd especially be watching here the southwestern part of Ringgold County. And we'll go ahead and track it. This one is moving, I'd say, still about 25 miles per hour, but I'm going to deviate this track more down to the south. In fact, I'm going to have to widen out the view here just briefly. We'll reposition over the southern part of Ringgold County. That's where I think this one's going based on my analysis. So Malloy, 639. We also have Delphos mentioned as well at 648, and then Pawnee 730. That should be way out on down the line as well. So heads up, I think anywhere along Highway 2, be prepared. You're still in that tornado warning, but I'm seeing that risk. Wouldn't you say, Logan, kind of deviating more to the south?
Yeah, I actually have the tornado warning brought up in association with the velocity there. We do see that there on that bottom left corner of that warning. I agree. It's going to ride that line of that tornado warning. So Malloy, Delphos, Benton, still be in your safe spaces, and especially driving on Highway 169, especially south of Highway 2. Be ready for this to come here, getting onto, I'd say, pretty soon, but still do have that tornado warning going across the area. And I think there is a new severe thunderstorm warning also behind it as well for 1.5-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds for Adams and Taylor County for this storm right here, and it's going to be until 7:15. Radar indicated 1.5-inch hail, and then 60-mile-per-hour winds for Adams and Taylor County across this area until 7:15. Chris?
Yeah, latest data I'm just seeing just off screen, so I'll go over to the velocity picture and show it to you. Right on the southern bounds, and I'll put the warning up on screen here. Let's see a slight little shift in the data. Right on the southern bounds is where we're watching, kind of right through here in the Malloy area, Delphos, even Benton, over through Mount Ayr. I want you still in your safe places. This is kind of that area we're watching for the latest rotation. Kind of a busy screen. I know you're seeing kind of a busy screen here, but riding right through the southern side of that tornado warning. So there's kind of a little bit of a balance between where the warning is directed and where it looks like that threat might be deviating kind of down the southern side. So especially watching southern and central Ringgold County right now. Right here, right where it meets in the southern edge of this warning, that's where I'd be concerned. The strongest of the winds deviating, but this is extending up through the storm. Think of the storm radiating out towards you. This rotation, as we look down on it from above, continues to exist really high up in this thunderstorm, a sign that this is rip-roaring. We do have chasers out there. And we'll hear if there is anything touching the ground. Right now, this rotation, though, is pretty broad, albeit very strong, Logan.
Yeah, I was just taking a look back out here. So we have the tornado warning trailing with a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. The tornado warning has 1.75 inch hail, but we do have that rotation coming down across that area. I'll bring in that rotation there again. Still seeing it there, some broader rotation in Malloy, Delphos, Benton. Still be in that safe place, especially if you're on County Highway 27, Bondry Street, 255th Street, County Highway J43, Highway 2, Mount Air, and then County Highway P46 and J55 as well. Watch out for some of this rotation that could be coming along your way. And in terms of other stuff, I'm not really seeing too much. Something maybe over in southeastern Iowa, starting to see some showers build up there in Cordon, Centerville, Sheraton, and Albia as well there, Chris.
Okay, Logan, yeah. What I have pulled up here, the shear detection showing the strongest of the shear where it is at. So just to the south of Highway 2, and this is probably about 5 minutes dated when we saw that re-intensification, but it's certainly continuing to move its way to the east now. Here's that latest data. I'm going to go ahead and back this up just a little bit. And it definitely looks like it's on that southeasterly trajectory. East and south and east at about 25 miles per hour is what we have with this. So we're solidly into southwestern Ringgold County, radar indicated tornado, rain wrapped in here, but kind of where those weaker echoes are, right at the tip of the arrow. That's where we're watching for the best area of rotation here. There's hail, no doubt, golf balls. We've seen a history of baseball-sized hail back to the west into Taylor County. Just widening out the view, I want to keep situational awareness of what is going on across southern Iowa. Storms continue to build in off to the east. You also briefly saw there way at the bottom towards Chillicothe and Missouri that there's a couple of tornado warnings as well. That's where they'll stay, but we're going to continue to fill in with rain here. Hail is still a threat, but tornadoes right now, the biggest concern over Ringgold County at the moment. This warning continues until 7 o'clock, and at this stage, the way the velocity picture is looking, just off screen, we're going to keep this threat going. Looks like we're watching there continuing right on the southern edge, right here in the red, right where that tornado warning is on that southern edge. That's where that threat is right now. Malloy, right near you, so you need to continue to seek shelter. Just north of town, anywhere Malloy to Benton to Delphos, that's where we have that tornadic threat at the moment. Logan?
Yeah, I was just taking a look here, what was posted. Just taking a look, that was some photos of some hail there. That was impressive, Chris, that I saw that you sent, but yeah, still that tornado warning until 7 p.m. and nothing I'm reading on National Weather Service chat or nothing else I'm really seeing that's majorly developing, just this tornado warning until 7 p.m. with the severe thunderstorms following behind that, with the considerable one behind this tornado warning going through Conway, Diagonal, Delphos, and Highway 2 and Highway 25 across that area. And in terms of that rotation, we're starting to see latest scan looks like still has some of that weak stuff coming through the area, but getting to Malloy, County Highway 27, and Delphos here anytime soon across that area. But still that southeastern track moving across with the scans here, going past Highway 2, heading to Malloy, and then getting into Delphos here soon. But that tornado warning, that is going to be until 7 p.m. Make sure that you do get into your safe place if you are within these areas. And make sure you get into the lowest area, so like a basement. If you don't have one, get into the most interior room of your house and make sure that it has no windows as well. Chris?
Yeah, that's a solidly good advice. I've been monitoring some chasing feeds here just off screen. I don't have the ability to show them with you. I don't have broadcast rights with them. I'm not seeing anything on the ground just now, so that's good, but certainly we do have some big time circulation happening overhead, and it's right where Logan just mentioned, between Malloy and Delphos right now. It does look like we've started to broaden things out just a little bit, but the area to watch is going to be south of Benton, west of Delphos, east of Malloy right now. So let's go ahead and zoom in, see if we can get you street view mapping. So this is going to be right about 255th Street and County Highway P27. crossing there east of Malloy and west of Delphos, both very small communities out into Ringgold County. But if you're local, you're going to recognize those places. South of Benton as well. Still fairly bright, but on a broad scale. And we like to continue to see that. So when it tightens up is when things get concerning. Logan?
Yeah, I was just taking a look at the past 3-hour estimated radar rainfall here. We're starting to see some higher values, especially in Quincy, Highway 34, in between Lenox, Holt, Gravity's Ball. Now, this is radar estimated, so it's not accurate. It could be 2 inches, it could be mostly less, but still a decent soaking, I would say, Chris, along Highway 34 in that area with some heavy rain rates that we have seen associated with the storms now working their way over into Tingley and Mount Ayr with that tornado warning, Chris.
As I kind of mentioned earlier, yeah, we'll be concerned with flooding rains eventually as time continues to evolve as we fill in. I think it's the southern 2 tiers of counties in Iowa that has the chance to deal with that. Right now, nothing eminent saying we need to be concerned with flash flooding, but we have a whole lot of rain slipping through Taylor and Ringgold County right now, basically moving due east. What I have also plotted on the screen here, that's the wind gusts that we've seen from some of our recent observation sites out there. 49 miles per hour in Red Oak. I don't think we have another significant one in that time frame from since we've been on with our coverage. I will say it has been filling in here from Clarinda to Bedford and over towards Mount Ayr. So we're continuing to build in new cells from the south. This is going to evolve into a very heavy rainmaker with time. Let's check in on that circulation. Peak just off screen. Still appears to be fairly broad, but on the strong side. So we're still kind of deviating to the south of east. And I'll put the warning back up. This area is now officially outside of the warning box, I'd say, right on that line and points to the south. Now there is still a bit of some circulation happening up here near Benton, but the updraft wind being stronger, that's going to be that target zone that we're going to be watching here. We're always watching different areas of the storms, but as prompted with this tornado warning initially, this is the part that was the concerning circulation in the initial offerings of this storm. Still not seeing anything quite giving us a signal on the ground. No, watching some big time rotation overhead just off camera here, but there's nothing on the ground. However, we have that lowering, so something to watch, that wall cloud as we continue on. Logan?
Yeah, it looks like they did come out with another local storm report about 3 miles southeast of Gravity, about quarter-sized inch hail, so it could be a little bit from behind, might have been reported just a little later since Gravity right now. Nothing really indicating any chances for hail, maybe with the severe thunderstorm back here, but that was reported, but we still just do have that tornado warning lasting another 14 minutes. We'll see what they decide to do, if they want to lower that, if the new one, if it keeps moving more towards the southeast and getting out of that tornado warning, but this is still going to be until 7 with the, looks like the considerable severe thunderstorm warnings have gone away, though it looks like they have expired here at 6:45. So you just have the severe thunderstorm warning just right behind, and that's going to be until once it wants to load in until about 7:15. Radar indicated 1.5 inch hail, and looks like they did issue another severe thunderstorm warning. Yep, they put in the new one right here. So
go ahead and
let
cover that for me.
So they expire the old one and they let the new one here for Decatur and Ringgold counties, and this is going to be considerable for that 1.75 inch hail and 60 mile per hour gusts associated with the severe thunderstorm warning. And this one's going to be an entire hour, expiring at 7:45 for this storm right here. But we still just right behind that have the tornado warning until 7 p.m. across that area. Chris, are you good to go, or are you still want to keep going?
We're good to go. Still kind of monitoring that circulation. I was actually passing along a report to the National Weather Service of some hail. So wanted to get that in with you. A signal of some convergence, new cell going up near Blockton. That's what I'm seeing. So oftentimes that can give us an indication that we're building in a new cell when you see that strong surge, and potentially even some hail out on the horizon. And then that newly issued severe thunderstorm warning, that's riding the state line, extending to the east and continuing to head in towards the Lamoni area and points beyond. That tornado warning in red, the threat, the rotation continues to be kind of along that southern edge of it. I'd say that's the best area to watch, though. There's now kind of two broad areas. We have one here from Benton to just southwest of Mount Ayr, and then another just south of Delphos. So anywhere in this vicinity, south of Highway 2 by about 4 or 5 miles, and then a couple miles west of U.S. Highway 169, need to watch right through here. This is going to be that area that's seen the greatest amount of shearing and that potential to reach to the ground. And there's a pretty marked lowering that is occurring with the storm wall cloud, but I'm not seeing any funnels just off screen here as we take a look at what's happening on Storm Chaser feed that I don't have the broadcast rights for you, so I can't bring it up with you. But we do have some spotters at minimum out on these storms, and we're following it here. So there's a distinct wall cloud coming into view, and this is actually, kind of in the rain too, so it's difficult to actually see too far. But this is that area that we're watching there just south of Highway 2. Anyone south and west of Mount Ayr, back to Benton, Delphos, down through Reading, you need to be in your safe places, please. Officially out of the tornado warning for many up to the north of Threz, now riding that southern edge and just beyond it down to the south, Logan.
Yeah, they did update that tornado warning, Chris, so they did include now some of those portions that were south that was out of that tornado range, so tornado warning range. So now places getting into 250th Street, Mount Ayr, 160th Avenue, 255th Street, County J43, County Highway J43 are now included in this tornado warning. They have shifted it more south. Still going to be until 7 p.m. though, as we still see some rotation currently overhead getting into Mount Ayr, Moi Drive, and then 250th Street there, Chris.
Yeah, Mount Ayr, continue to be in your safe place, please. Anyone south of Highway 2 in that tornado warning, I'm still watching kind of that feed here. There's some pretty strong rotation, no lowering at this point, but that can change in an instant. Quite literally in 10 seconds, things can change. So that's why we're on with you, seeing that strong area of rotation right near Delphos and moving off to the east and slightly south of east with time at about 25 miles per hour. So as we go to the velocity picture, I'm going to go ahead and track this one for you. I think I need to widen out the view here real quick before we continue on. The area we're watching is about right there, moving to the slightly south of east. So Lamoni, this is well outside the scope of the tornado warning, but this area of circulation, if it continues to hold, will be near you by about 7:41. And there's some secondary shearing extending a little bit further down the line too. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Moving south of Kellerton with time. Andover, this will be near you, 7:48. That's getting well out to the south and east with time. So we're riding just north of the Missouri border at this point with those threats. That threat, I should say, of a tornado. Radar indicated at this point. We have spotters in the field. Not seeing anything stirring on the ground at this point, and that's good, but it can change quickly. Logan?
Yeah, I was just taking a look back here at the hail coming across the area. The hail size here, I'll grab a quick valley here, but with that severe thunderstorm warning, 1.5-inch hail, so just under golf ball size hail, dropping most likely just north of Highway 2, but County Highway P33, Benton probably seeing some good hail as of now. But it's going to be working its way across that area with that tornado warning through Benton all the way down into 175th Avenue, 180th Avenue. So we have that rotation and we have that strong hail working its way across. But Mount Ayr, you're probably going to start seeing some hail here coming soon. Some chances for some smaller hail right now, but it'll start to work up as a majority of it's working its way into Henderson Drive, getting into Columbus Street, and getting into Madison Street as well. Chris?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, still just watching what's going on outside, and the shear, it is ripping. It's just not quite as tight. This is happening on a very large scale. Wide scale, and you can see the scope here of the colors. This is the shear, the rotational component over the last 30 minutes. You can see this has been a thing since it was back west of Highway 25, back into Taylor County. So now this one's moving to the east. That best area, I'd say, is right at the leading edge here of this darkest blue, and that's putting it south of the Benton area, near Delphos. That is where we have the best shear. At the moment. There is a distinct lowering to the clouds, great structure on this storm, and pretty bright as we take a look at some of the velocity readings coming in here. This is going to be close to 60 miles per hour, and it is 57 for that velocity at that brightest green that I sampled directly under it. So what I'm going to do is go across and sample some of the red, and we'll see what pops up. 50 miles per hour. This is a lot of rotation. Very fast-moving clouds, and they can tighten up real quick. And initially what prompted this tornado warning is we had that very bright and tight signature on the radar picture. So we have about 107 miles per hour rotating around. This is going to be over the span of about 5 miles, though, so pretty broad. So that lowering that we're looking at, in some of the feeds that are coming into us, fairly wide, and it's low, but it's not pinpointed down into a funnel-like shape. Logan?
Yeah, the National Weather Service has issued another severe thunderstorm warning for Ringgold and Taylor County until 7:15 p.m. This is going to be for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, and this is going to be just right behind the considerable severe thunderstorm warning and that tornado warning that's going until 7, which has about 6 more minutes left on it, but just behind it, we do have a general thunderstorm warning across the area. I'll take a quick look here at the hail, which is going to be around these 2 pockets just on Highway 148 and then east of Bedford onto Quail Avenue, and then getting into Oregon Avenue, 260th Street, probably seeing hail of about 1 inch. We'll bring it up here, so about 1.1 inches for the derived for this one here. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warning for Ringgold and Taylor County just behind that there. Chris?
Okay, Logan, and this is it, I think, for the clustering. We're starting to fill in now, especially out and ahead. We have storms to the south, and those storms to the south, and well, obviously it's not into the Local 5 coverage area. What this does to storms further north, it kind of stifles their development. It cuts off a lot of the fuel that is open. We haven't seen these storms towards maybe Corydon, south of Sheraton to Albia, Centerville. It just hasn't taken off explosively like what it has in southwestern Iowa. These storms were more isolated when they were getting going. So this activity out further to the east, fairly low chances of reaching that severe threshold. But this, you look south, that wind feeding it, that warm, moist air, that's more open for business there as it looks over Ringgold County. This is a fairly small tornado warning in the grand scheme of things. So still, if you're in Mount Ayr, points to the south along Highway 169, you need to continue to seek shelter. We have a lowering that is noted, wall cloud, meso, spinning from it, but fairly broad rotation. So this is a big feature that's spinning, and it's spinning quick, and all it takes is just a few moments for it to tighten up with that rotation. It looks like the velocity is now hinting things east of Delphos and pushing closer to Highway 169. So as we zoom in just a little bit, that rotation kind of between about 260th and 270th Streets right here. And then we're looking towards Boundary Street and 180th Avenue, kind of those areas to watch, east of County Road J43 and west of Highway 169. That's where that cloud is spinning pretty stark overhead and very, very quickly. This has been a very strong meso here, Logan. And when we say meso, we're talking storm scale rotation.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, very nice rotation for that mesoscale there that's working its way across. We still have 3 more minutes left on this tornado warning, so we're going to see what the National Weather Service decides to do with this, if they're going to extend it or move it around, but we still do have that rotation down into those portions of Benton and Mount Air. So 255th Street, Delphos, get in your safe place. If you aren't now, County Highway J43. If you are on Highway 69 in between Mount Air and heading down into Reading, get into your safe place now. And same thing for over into 250th Street, 220th Avenue. Get ready to get into your safe place now, whether it is the most interior room in your house, well, make sure it has no windows, or if it is the basement of your house as well. But just make sure to get into your safe place now and have a way to receive warnings as well. Chris?
I think one thing helping us out here tonight is we actually do have eyes on the storm. And a lot of times that can give you a little bit more confidence to maybe hold off on the next issuance, because you know you have folks out there tracking things, and some instances even live as it happens. So as we come to the end of this tornado warning in the next 2 minutes, 90 seconds or so, we don't have anything out ahead. We don't have anything out ahead as far as a new warning coming out. We're going to stay on a little bit beyond here just to see how things pan out. This is a very strong rotation. It just has not been tightening up. No confirmations of touchdowns with this circulation, but we did have kind of a weaker circulation earlier back near gravity that actually did touch down. In fact, in the booth, we can pull up that photo if you want. We can pull it up. This was a tornado. Oh, we have a new one. This is one I haven't seen. This is coming in out of Red Oak in Montgomery County. That would be up there towards tennis ball sized hail, I would believe. Cody, can you get that tornado picture up for us? There it is. This is kind of in a funnel stage, but we were told that this did actually reach the ground prior, and it was starting to rope out and lift back up by the time this picture was taken. But yeah, you can see that there, highly sheared, and what I mean by that is it's slanted and tilted down, but the area of rotation with this, when that happened, was much weaker than what we have showing up on the radar picture right now. Velocity picture showing up, a lot of shearing there. It really looks like that strongest area of inflow is now right down Highway 169 as it's running north and south of Mount Air. So no communities in that vicinity, so we'll pull up some of the streets, 270th to 280th Street and about Highway 169, and just back to the west a little bit. This is the best area of shearing that we do have. Logan?
Yeah, so that tornado warning has expired, and there hasn't been anything brought up on the National Weather Service just yet. But I will say, stay weather aware. They can, with the rotation still happening, they could put another one down in there. So still be considerate about that. And they have canceled the severe thunderstorm warning up over in Adams and Taylor. Looks like there is a flash flood warning for Montgomery, which is, I think, outside of our viewing area.
Yes.
So, but some chances, starting to see some flash flooding. So we could see behind some of these storms that have seen a lot of rain in our viewing area, could be seeing some flash flooding warnings. But right now, that tornado warning has been canceled, but still stay weather aware in case another one is going to be issued here. Chris?
All right, Logan. We are going to continue our coverage streaming online. We are Iowa Plus. You can catch us over there for Local 5. We'll get you back to regular programming, and we hope to see you join us on our stream as we continue on tracking storms across southern Iowa. All right, Logan. I've been watching one of those streams now for a little while, and this one has been struggling to drop down. There's been a distinct lowering with it the entire time. A lot of circulation. You can literally watch those clouds move. But yeah, that was, it is still a very strong circulation overall. In the booth, can you pull me back up on... yeah, so I can at least see myself. I appreciate that for the streaming purposes. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Either way, it helps out. All right, Logan. I don't think we got anything to drop out of that one.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's just we have these just two severe thunderstorm warnings left. Potentially could start seeing some flash flood warnings build up behind, just depending on how much these storms really start to train, because we've seen just them moving more east. You get the heavier rains, and it's just rain after rain after rain with these. And Nothing so far, especially over southeastern parts of Iowa. We're starting to see just normal showers coming across the area, maybe just general thunderstorms, but nothing to be put up on the severe side that we've been seeing on that southwest area or west of I-35 as well. As we're getting close to the interstate there, so that's something I will say to warn out just for a little bit if this still continues to go into the area. But just considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Decatur and Ringgold County until 7:45 for 1.75 golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. And I do see there, Chris, you do have a hail parameter brought up, so I'll switch it over to you.
Yeah, and I'll let you build up about rain and where we've been, and we can chat about that because that's going to be more of a major player as we continue on through the night, especially close to the Missouri border. I have hail size revved up. This is just shy of golf ball size, 1.6. 1.75 is this diameter of a golf ball. And looking at the GR radar, it is suggesting something up to 2 inches in diameter. So very, very strong there. Still, I'm kind of watching the stream just off screen here, and we don't have a contract with this person I'm watching. Otherwise, I'd bring it up in a heartbeat because it was you could literally watch the spin coming up there. All of the chasers we're contracted with are out into Nebraska and Kansas here for tonight and what's going on out to the west. So. What we've been watching is a lot of rotation overhead, and it's still there. It's very fast. It's also very broad. We needed to pinpoint. We needed to kiss, if you will, come right together. These pixels, the pixel to pixel. So one of the areas I'd watch would be right here, actually. But you can see the brighter colors are more off the south of that feature and more broad. So this is broad level rotation, and it's happening over 5 miles. So that's a lot of spin, but it's fairly wide. And the tornadoes aren't going to be 5 miles wide. It needs to come together. That's when we start talking about issuing tornado warnings.
Yeah, we'll take it back here. We'll talk about rain quick. So taking a look at the intensity of rain we're seeing here with some of these storms, I've mapped out a couple locations. We're seeing upwards of 3 to 6 inches an hour of rain. And since we're moving on that more easterly track, you're starting to see especially those beginning parts of rain. This is going to be some of the better chances for flash flooding once we allow these storms to move over, especially on that Iowa-Missouri line is the place I'd be the most worried about. Maybe that one county just above that border could be seeing the heavier amounts of rain because allowing just that to build up. We'll take a look here at the 3-hour estimated rainfall using radar. We can see some places are already in that red, which is 3 to 4 inches. I think this is probably a little bit overdone, but locally, some places I think could have gotten over 2 inches, Chris, and I think you could definitely agree with me on that amount as well.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, anywhere 2-3 inches. These storms have been there for quite a while. This morning, I shared kind of an image that showed a heavy pocket of rain around here in this. You know, can you switch me over?
Yeah.
Sorry, Logan. Showing a heavy pocket of forecast rain around here. Well, the stationary boundary didn't really move, or at that point it was a warm front and it kind of parked a little further south than we expected. So this is going to be that corridor of that very heavy rain here. And thankfully this stuff out here to the east, while there's some pulses where it does increase, it's nothing like what's happening out here to the west. So this is the activity where we've seen kind of that 2, 3, 4 inch of radar estimate in here. We're not going to get it done with this activity out to the east. Now we'll yield some rainfall. It will be how can these storms interact as it continues to move to the east. Now, speaking of interactions, I kind of mentioned it briefly when we were on air maybe 15 minutes or so ago. These storms down to the south. So this, yeah, that's what I want. This will actually work against the development of this activity up to the north. There will still be some storms, but it keeps them a little bit more suppressed. And what's happening in here, there's only a finite amount of energy left to use. And so the more it uses, the weaker the storms eventually become because this southern line is actually stealing anything else coming in from the south. So as this activity continues to work to the east, you notice these storms are moving to the north and east. There will be kind of a changeover line where these cells, as they move past I-35, enter a less favorable environment. Right now, these storms don't have anything to the south. That's why they are so much stronger than anything else. Kind of like what's happening down here towards Chillicothe. Okay, so this southern line, the southernmost positioning of these storms are the ones that are going to be the strongest. Right now, I think our greatest threat is hail out of that storm that is approaching Mount Ayr, and it is going to be giving us golf ball sized hail. That's what the warning is for, and just looking off to a GR, it's saying something up towards 2.4 inches. So there's still some hail to be had here with the storm. There's still certainly some rotation. I've lost the stream I was watching actually because southern Iowa doesn't have the best cell coverage out there, so the stream is a little intermittent. As I show you the velocity picture here, it's still very broad. One thing I would watch would be that little pixel right there. That one has me intrigued a bit more, that green. If something anywhere along this line can pull closer to that red. Also, when you start to see these colors kind of dial in more to a V notch as they approach each other, kind of like a bow tie feature, that's when you really start to be concerned as well with something a little more pinpointed. All right, Logan, I've been a windbag here. Go ahead.
You're good. Yeah, I was just talking about that rain. You were showing some of those showers down in Missouri near Trenton and Browning, and just look at the amount of that 3R estimated rainfall there, about 5 inches of rain. Just shows we had that placement. We knew it was going to be somewhere near that Iowa-Missouri border, just not really sure where yet. It's pretty hard to place when you have training thunderstorms when they rely on so many different characteristics in order to get that line. So it was moving all the way down. I know when Chris posted that, and then when I came to the station, it shifted a little bit more south. So it just shows how volatile the atmosphere can be when trying to place stuff like this, and how hard it is to forecast rain coming across the area. But we did know that general area was going to be around that southern Iowa into that Missouri border for that as well. And people in the National Weather Service chat are talking about that rotation near Mount Ayr as well. So we'll bring up some stuff about that. Some deputies are reporting the bottom half of clouds are still shifting and going west, still some rotation and some pea-sized hail and strong winds within the Mount Ayr city limits across that area there. Chris, do you have anything?
No, I'm just kind of catching up on what you're reading there as well. I hadn't seen any of that.
Yeah, so I'll take a quick look down there and
yeah,
see
what
ahead. We can find there. But yeah, still some brighter colors around that, but still just on that broader end, just south of Mount Ayr, heading into Delphos, just getting past Highway 169, heading into County Highway P46 flat, and just north of County Highway J55, heading into County Highway P64. So Mount Ayr starting to still see some of that lowering that was said with some of that rotation across that area, still just on the broader side for that. And I'll take a look here at rotation, see if anything's coming up with that. Still some of the briefer one heading into more Missouri now with that rotation down there, but still weak rotation overall, just passing Highway 165, but has been seeing rotation here picking up sometimes it gets a little bit on that strong green with that light blue, but it's still just remaining on that lower end, just not enough to really bring it down into potential for tornado.
We're going to get you some water.
Sounds good, thank you.
Yeah. Keep talking.
I'll take a look back here, though. All we have left here in Iowa in our viewing area is 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. We have the first one here. This is just the normal. We'll move it over here one more until 7:15. So this one has 4 more minutes left on it for Ringgold and Taylor County. Radar indicated for a 1-inch hail, 60 mile per hour gust, and then over in Decatur in Ringgold County, where we have that considerable threat for severe weather, 1.75 inches and 60 mile per hour gusts. And if you have any photos of hail or any of the severe weather you've seen, please drop it in the stream or any of our Local 5 weather team or our Local 5 news Facebook pages or any social media. We'd love to have those photos so we can share it and also use it for reports as well. So if you have any hail, wind damage, or tornado photos, please send it our way. I think that will be greatly appreciated there, Chris.
All right, Logan, we're seeing the worst of the conditions kind of riding right along the Missouri border right now, Taylor and also Ringgold County, especially south of Mount Ayr. There's still a lot of shearing, some rotation, if you will, anywhere from the state line north, and that's getting basically due south of Mount Ayr. Let's see if there's anyone close by. North of J55, east of County Road P46. It's right here. That would be the most intriguing to me at this point. But that shearing effect does continue all the way down to the south towards the Missouri border. Still keeping an eye on things just off screen here. You know, that's a pretty strong inflow that is surging into it, Logan, but the downdraft just is not coming around too well here. Just kind of analyzing this picture. Yeah, and the main part of the storm, we're keeping kind of the rear flank mostly tied up in here. I believe this is a new cell that's wrapping up in here. But watch these weak echoes, southeastern Ringgold County. It'd be in here where we'd watch for that little bit of shearing. But everything has been pretty broad for the last 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, we'll take a look back here with some of the stuff here. So we do still have that tornado warning. We have about 4 hours left with this tornado warning coming across the area. The yellow is until 11 p.m. and that's going to get up to that I-80 corridor across that area. Not sure if they're going to start taking some out. It might be a little bit too early for that, but that's going to be until 11 p.m. for this tornado watch. But potentially later on into tonight could see some of that pink work its way over into Iowa with a severe thunderstorm warning, severe thunderstorm watch heading later in tonight as the second round work its way. And this is the first round that's primarily that big tornado and hail threat, but heading into the nighttime, heading into early Sunday morning, that's going to be more primarily a wind threat coming over from Nebraska heading into Iowa there.
All right, bring it over to me. What I have here coming up shortly is going to be Futurecast and how things are going to run out for the rest of tonight. Okay, so we'll pull in that next round from the west. Yeah, pretty clear that we're going to hug things down close to the Missouri border. But there comes that second wave, as Logan just mentioned. This is going to be really deep in the overnight. We're talking after 1 o'clock before it hits the state bounds here and continues to move east. That would hold a wind threat, but by that point, it will be on a weakening trend as it gets into the local 5 coverage area. So I actually wouldn't be too rip-roaring about that threat by then. I think flash flooding rains would be concerning by then. And we're just going to check out the raw data. Give me 2 seconds while I find that piece. We'll check out the rain and as it sits for the next few hours here. Oh, this is only through 10 o'clock. Logan, you'll have to talk and I'll get the correct data time in here.
Yeah, well, they did take out that severe thunderstorm warning down in parts of Ringgold and Taylor County, the one that just had the 1-inch hail and the 60-mile-per-hour wind. So we still just have this one severe thunderstorm warning left in our viewing area for that considerable damage for 1.75-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour gusts. We're starting to see, I'm not sure, Chris, but what is it Kansas City, the National Weather Service down there?
Yeah.
So they're starting to issue now stuff heading into their border as well. So we're going to start seeing these storms really start to trend down into Missouri as well. I'll take a look for any hail signatures across this area. See if they're, they still have just past Highway 169 now on the eastern side of Mount Ayr, heading along Highway 2 past, heading into past Cleveland Street East. And I'll take some measurements here, see what the algorithm's saying. About 1.6 inches for hail around this size. So just around golf ball size hail, just east of Mount Ayr, heading into 240th Avenue, 240th Street, and 250th Street. Continue on all the way up north until around, you zoom in there, 210th Street. So those are your boundaries there for that heaviest amounts of hail. But starting to work their way over into portions of County Highway P64. Chris, I see you have some stuff brought up there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Bring it up and I'll hold off what I'm doing. This is future rain through basically the rest of tonight. We won't see much through tomorrow from mid-morning on. So this is from here on out. We started getting into those oranges and reds. Yeah, there's still potential out there. In the south, especially over Ringgold and Taylor. So Futurecast is doing a nice job pinpointing on where the biggest threat is. So there's a little balance right now. between rain that's already fallen and what's in the forecast. You can see the amounts here, and this is basically from 7 o'clock and on, what's expected for the rest of the night. And you do see there's a healthy swath of inch and a half rain out there over southern, southwestern Iowa. But there'll be some pulses where we see just a little bit more. But this is on top of what we have already seen. So want to come back here to the radar picture, and we'll pull up the rain that we've seen in the last 3 hours. And so keep in mind these numbers here. And there's some places that could still see another couple of inches of rain here on out for the rest of tonight. These are the estimates that are coming in across Taylor, Ringgold, and up into Adams County. So there's a lot of 3 to 4 inch reports here, and we're going to add on a little bit more. It's that little bit more that becomes more and more concerning. So emergency managers are on the horn as well. They'll let us know if there's any flash flooding concerns coming along with this activity as well. But heavy rain will become the bigger story. I'd say by 8 o'clock, that's probably what we're going to be dealing with from here on out as things tend to move down south into Missouri, Logan.
Yeah, the National Weather Service did take out some of that little part of the back end of that severe thunderstorm warning. They cut out parts of Clearfield, Diagonal, Benton, and Malloy, and Blockton as well. So you're out of that severe thunderstorm warning right now. But something they did change is they added it to observed, since there was a report of 1.75 inch hail, so golf ball size hail, in Mount Ayr in Ringgold County, Iowa. So starting to see some of that hail pick up. I don't think it's come up on here yet. Actually, I think it has. So I'll bring up the local storm reports for Mount Ayr, but we're starting to see, here along 208th Avenue over in Henderson Drive, we're starting to see golf ball size hail across this area, and same over near Madison Street as well. So some reports, they changed that up to observed for that severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45. And that is not the, I was just a little too zoomed in there. So there we go, bring the color out. But still now has the observed tag, but parts of that back end have been cut out so far for that severe thunderstorm warning there. Chris?
Okay, Logan. What I'm going to ask you to do off screen, go ahead and bring it back up on me, but on the web browser, can you orient Knoxville and just make sure it's online and maybe point it south? I want to see if they're getting in the rain or not, and they may be racing, so I don't want to pull that up on the stream because we're not supposed to show that. But I was just wondering kind of, what's going on out there and what we're seeing. Down into Ringgold County, they're getting hit hard. I was told, we've reached out to emergency managers, and they said, we're getting hit hard now. Call back in about 10 minutes and see what's happening. So hail, there's 60 mile per hour wind threat there. Let me go over to the wind and just see. Logan, feel free to pop that up whenever, too, when you get it positioned, if you want. But I'll pull up the wind gusts here, and we'll see if there's any that pop into view that are significant. 59 miles per hour in Red Oak. Man, that was just a little cell, too, that pulsed up. I don't even think that got a warning. It's since weekend as it moved into Adams County. But that's a little interesting. Got to keep the situational awareness up a little bit. 30 miles per hour in Blockton as this cell moved through. And we don't have any sensors in Mount Ayr or nearby. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Lamoni as we get closer to that one as well. But they're gusting up to 28 miles per hour at the moment. Heavy rain out there. One severe thunderstorm warning into Decatur and Ringgold County. That's mostly into Ringgold County. And then a secondary one from Ringgold back into Taylor County. So that's for kind of a tail end little appendage that is producing some hail concerns along with it. All right, you got that Knoxville cam?
Should have it up. I have it on here on the web browser. I'm not sure why it's not coming up. I click on
you should
Knoxville
be able to take
quick.
Knoxville directly on the vMix. I have it streaming in. I don't know if we have a hot button on it.
So it still has the just.
There you go. It's right here. Oh, go back. One of these. Well, where are you at, Knoxville? What happened?
I have the one right there, but I don't know why it's just.
Well, what the heck? All right. Well, we can.
I did web browser, but.
Well, it is raining there, so they're not racing. Well, darn it, we're going to have to Trying to see what's going on here. I don't know why that doesn't want to work. All right, well, back to the radar we go. I'll let you punch buttons now.
Yeah, sorry
working
about
through some
those
troubleshooting.
technical difficulties. But yeah, like Chris said, they just added this little small severe thunderstorm warning. It's on the edge of what the Des Moines National Weather Service can issue because they can't get into the other National Weather Service's area. So this is going to be for getting into Decatur and Ringgold, and for Platteville, Blockton, getting into those areas. Radar indicated 1.5-inch hail and then 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Getting into mostly, it looks like Utah Drive, Tagold Avenue probably could see some more of that hail, and I'll bring up that hail parameter here, see if we can start seeing up some pockets. So it looks like the heaviest amount of that one is in that Missouri border, but we're still starting to see some remnants heading up more north into that area. So Platteville, Quail, Athelston. Does that sound right, Chris?
Yeah, that's one I'm going to have to look up, man. I know a lot of towns. That
Blocked
isn't one
in,
of
and
them.
then heading more to that considerable one, we do see a longer line of that blue there. So a good chunk of hail. We'll take some parameters from here, click about 4 areas. Generally going to be about that Atholston. Generally about that 1 to 1.5 inch range for hail, but still on that larger side. Just now getting past Mount Ayr. So we'll move along here, getting into some of the hail working its way into County Highway P64. Potentially getting into P68 in Kellerton, and then getting down into that Missouri-Iowa border. So I'll take it back onto the severe thunderstorm. Severe thunderstorm warning here. This is the bigger picture right now. So we're starting to see the bigger threats move its way out. But we're starting to see some the Nebraska stuff. It's going to take a long time, but starting to build up over in Nebraska. But mainly just southern Iowa, starting to see some... getting to see the tail end of some showers from this more evening session that we have seen there, Chris.
Yep, heaviest rain is down on the Missouri border and that hail. But one thing, the hail, you showed it, it's not really localized anymore. It's more broad in that spectrum. I'll back you up. 1 second. I'll back you up. And you see the hail was definitely more pronounced at points. So those purples showing up in the last hour. So I think we're trending the right way on that northern side. I'd watch the southern side down there, west of Lamoni. That probably has the best signal for hail. That's closest to the updraft at the moment. Why don't I go ahead and slice it for you? Give me a second here while I get into slicing mode. And we'll actually see how things are going within this storm from a 3D perspective. We don't do this a lot on air. Give me 1 second. I'll switch it to the 60 DBZ mode. There we go. Okay. I'm going to need the data to load. Yeah, it was much higher here when it was probably over Mount Ayr at 707. And now falling to the ground. There's a new little pocket going up west of Lamoni. Watch out for that. You see that? And this new pocket is going up right here. This was kind of collapsing a little bit. Let's see if I can loop it slowly. Let me change the looping speed. I can't show it and drive at the same time. So initially we see a core going up here around Mount Ayr as we get into view, coming in up and down, and then this new core is coming up there in the extreme southeastern part of Ringgold County. So watch for that. If there's anything that's going to garner a new warning, it's that compared to what we already have. I think the hail is falling right now over the southern half of Ringgold County, the way it looks to me on this. Logan?
Yeah, I agree with that, seeing that updraft start getting back up. Nothing too much in terms of reports that we're seeing across the area, just this considerable severe thunderstorm warning that is getting almost on the tail end. This one was issued for over an hour, and we're getting to about the final 15-ish, 20 minutes left on this one. So I will say probably Lamoni could see a severe thunderstorm warning coming across your area here soon with that hail core starting to develop again. Places getting along Highway 69, I-35. That's something to watch out for if you know people traveling up from Missouri or going down into Missouri on Highway 35, getting to some mile marker region here too. Potentially watch for some hail getting across the area because we've seen 2-inch hail. We've seen golf ball size hail start getting into the range. We're starting to destroy car windshields with that as well. So something to watch out there. I think to point out just a little bit earlier, just in case that does work its way onto the I-35 corridor. Chris, you got anything?
No, I'm just kind of checking in to try to see reports, if there's any new reports. I widened out the view, and one thing that did catch my eye is up near Carroll we have a little cell. I would not expect this to be anything more than hail if it would grow much stronger, just not in a favorable position overall. But Southern Iowa's lining up there with all that heavy rain. I'd be watching here over the next half hour to see how this evolves. Let me just loop it over the last hour. We'll get it going. And we're really seeing that heavy rain. There's new pulses of storms building to the west, and it's already moving over in an area that was hit pretty hard. So I do think we'll continue to see storms over the southern tier, maybe 2 tiers of counties as we move through the next couple of hours here. Overall, the strongest of the storms will slowly build its way southwards. So the Corfiti vectors have some very small movement to it, Logan. I think slowly pulling the storm movement to the south. But back here on that western edge, we're still building things and letting those storms move to the north and east. I do think that flow turns a little bit more southerly right along the Missouri border as we move closer to I-35. So that's my analysis on it. I think we're going to see some pockets with very excessive heavy rain in that southern tier of county. So I'd especially be watching Taylor, Ringgold, and on into Decatur County as we progress on this evening.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just watching out for these southern counties in terms of rainfall and hail, and I think the tornado threat's pretty low. I can't say zero, but I think it's gone down quite a bit, especially heading into the overnight hours. It's going to be tough for that to form there, where the biggest threat's going to be the wind and potentially getting into hail as well. Let's take a look here at storm relative velocity across the areas, and we'll see. There's a nice one right down there in Missouri there, Chris, a little further away, though, out of the viewing area. So.
Yeah, a couple of them, in fact. Yeah, but by then, if we're using Des Moines, it gets pretty far away from the radar site. So.
Yep, but nothing too much in terms of circulation that I'm seeing here in Iowa itself to be really concerned about. Just normal rotation, I'd say.
Hail reports of golf ball-sized hail in Mount Ayr. That was from a train spotter. Also 1-inch diameter hail from a train spotter. These 2 reports coming in 8 minutes from each other. No tornadic circulations right now.
I wouldn't
at this point.
Yeah, I don't really see anything for that.
If there's anything to watch, it's down into Missouri.
Yeah.
Let me show the hail where it currently sits. So golf balls out of Mount Ayr, and we're trending the right way. Previously, the last time we showed this to you, we had a lot more dark blue on it. Before that, it was purple, and at times even pinks. So we're seeing that hail fall. This is that new development when I 3D sliced it. That's new since the last time I showed you. So there is still that new sector that's going up. There you see it, nothing, and now up. But then at the same time, we had a lot more blue and purple in the past. And as this one passed over Mount Ayr, speaking of, I'll show you just how decent our analysis of the radar product is. How it samples things. 1.9, golf balls 1.75. So pretty good estimation coming in from the radar products today. I don't want to say we're sub-severe, but we're not seeing golf balls anymore. That dark blue shading, that's, what's that, ping pong ball size? Is that 1.5 or 1.25? It's 1.5.
I think it's about, 1.5.
So that would be, half dollar size. It's 1.25. So kind of out of these 2 areas, that's about half dollar size hail. But trending the right way. This is probably quarter size. I don't think we have a warning. Yeah, we do. We do have a warning in that area, don't we?
I think it's just that one
Just
last
a sliver.
one, yeah.
Yeah, just a sliver there of Ringgold and Decatur County. Ringgold County is the one that's really getting it at this stage. Logan?
Yeah, I was taking a look back at that shear detection, just looking at that rotation, and from where it was when it was going into Mount Ayr and Benton, getting into Conway, we've really seen that trend of it really starting to go down. It was peaking at about Benton with that tornado warning, but overall that rotation has just gone down. We're not really seeing anything now, just some more weak rotation now working its way over into that Iowa and Missouri border there. And nothing too far, even just going on the bigger grand scheme of things into Missouri in that area. But it looks like they did issue a severe thunderstorm warning down there, but that's getting out of our area now. And this one, we're getting into the last about 10 minutes left for this observed considerable threat severe thunderstorm warning in Decatur and Ringgold for 1.75 inch hail, and then 60-mile-per-hour gusts there. Chris?
Okay, I'm going to pull up the velocity picture here briefly. There's a little bit of an uptick in the inbound wind compared to previous scans right there as we cross Ringgold into Decatur County. So that's a new development west of Lamoni. We don't really have the outbound wind to match. There's probably some stronger wind intertwined underneath the cell. We did hear from emergency management that there was some strong wind, though that wasn't quantified on just how strong things were. But yeah, we'll take that at face value. When the emergency manager says it's strong wind, there's strong wind. So not only the hail in there, but probably in some of this red as it pushes its way eastward, extending down on that Decatur-Ringgold County line. There's probably some strong wind, and the way it looks on the radar picture, the strongest wind signature showing up over Kellerton right now. A little bit of a mark signal. North of Lamoni, where we have the wind that's kind of running into itself. And so I'll kind of show you here. The green is going towards the radar site. The red is moving away. This is what we call a mark signal, and it's looking at the mid kind of altitude convergence zone, basically. So we're looking at the air rushing into each other. Well, what does it do from there? Now, some of it goes down a little bit, right? But there's ground underneath. So you look at a lot of that wind going up, some of it going down to the ground, and that can actually help strengthen the thunderstorm too. When you're hitting each other and you force that storm up even higher, we see it grow even stronger in the end.
Yeah, and I was going to take a look back here at some of the rain intensity we're still seeing with these storms, still on the heavier rain side, about over 3 inches for a lot of the places that you're seeing the purple and above, about 4 inches up there. So we're still seeing a lot of heavy rainfall coming down across that area. And it's going to be the multiple rounds that we've seen, especially heading into more of getting into just south of Mount Ayr and other areas. So we've seen a lot of this rainfall really start to hit, could be getting to some flooding, which we still do have. Take a look here at the excessive rainfall outlook. We still do have that slight risk for that southern tier of counties going into like Ringgold, Decatur, and Wayne County, and Taylor as well. Still a chance for some slight non-urbanized flash flooding across the area. And then just north of that, still on the marginal end, which is just very low at this point there. Chris?
Okay, just hearing from, what was that, Ringgold County, saying that they do have a few areas where some branches have been down. They had some hail in there as well, and still the eastern part of the county is enduring some of those impacts yet. Back towards Montgomery County, they had a few reports, and this is well back when it was towards Red Oak. These cells no longer in any storm whatsoever, but they had anywhere from golf ball to baseball sized hail in the county. Near Red Oak, east towards Corning, south towards Gravity. That's when these storms were really going, and they had their strongest hail signature. We did get that warning continued on into Decatur County. This is going to be a base level warning. Nope, actually not. Hail size is still up to $0.50. Wind speed to 60 miles per hour. But this is a downward trend, if you remember, from the previous warning, which had that considerable threat level tag associated with it for the hail. So that hail core is kind of just off the screen, and I'll kind of reposition. That's closer to Kellerton on the way left-hand portion. But I think the hail signature associated with this has been trending the right way. Still it's moving to the east, slightly south of east. heading towards Lamoni. So heads up there. Stay away from windows if you're in Lamoni. And if you're so inclined, you can head to the basement as well. Winds up to 60 miles per hour, and we're looking at some $half sized hail. So as the hail sits right now, all right, let's go ahead and sample things here. So west of Lamoni, I do think we're going to be coming near Lamoni with close to $half to ping pong ball size hail, based on the way things are trending here with the hail algorithm inside. So this is about it as far as severe thunderstorms right now, and it's kind of right at the southern edge of the local 5 area. Still some rain north of Carroll, maybe even some small hail too. I'm going to sample it just because. If this one does get a little raucous for us, it's because of hail, and it's right over Breda right now. So maybe a little bit there. Let's see what it says. 1.1. That gets it to severe criteria. We'll see what they do with that.
Yeah, and then just adding on to about that hail there, since we're getting close to that I-35 corridor, if you didn't know people traveling around there, specifically around mile marker 0, just getting into that Iowa all the way up to mile marker 114, watch out because we've seen hail getting to this size could damage your windshield. So make sure if you do get around this place, find a safe place to get to if you are driving between this region here, between mile marker 1 and 14. Heading into either Iowa or Missouri on I-35 there. And yeah, nothing too much, yeah.
Logan, I'm going to take it. I'm going to look just across the border in Missouri. I'm kind of shocked that, this doesn't have a tornado warning on it right now. Near the Eagleville area, that's a pretty scream and signal. That's, gate to gate coming right in. Radiating from about the Washington Center area, growing it big. Does look like it could have a little bit of some contamination in it, but it is peaking the way I'd like to see it, right next to each other, gate to gate. It's in a favorable position, has a nice little appendage on it. West of Eagleville. So this is out of the local 5 area, but just something I noticed, and I'm always kind of looking at things. Flash flood warnings galore down into north central Missouri. Highway 2 corridor, that's where we're going to see the heavy rain materialize in the end. I think that's where the biggest totals are going to end up at from this. So there is some rain extending further north, cold pool rain, if you will. Haven't looked much, but there's not much lightning with it as it extends north of Highway 34. And just for the lightning detector here, let's go ahead and sample things. We have, isn't that a fun number? 666, number of strikes on the screen here showing up. Most of them being negative, and that's what you'd expect there. From that, positive strikes, about a third of those accounted for. And that basically means the direction the lightning bolt is actually traveling there. Most concentrated over, sampled the wrong thing here. Most concentrated over Ringgold and Decatur County right now, kind of in that red box. 360 strikes within there. So pretty vivid lightning show, it appears, coming in from that. Do we have the West Des Moines cam that we can pull
I can
up?
bring that up quick.
Why don't we do it just to get a look at things.
There you go.
All right, 1 second here. There you go. You can point it to the south if you want. But you're definitely seeing the anviling coming into the city from this. Down into Decatur County, that's where the worst section of this storm is at the moment. So continuing to monitor that. I don't know, Logan. What do you think about that little bit south into Missouri?
It's a little interesting. I'm trying to think. Because it's a tough place for just even to do nowcasting for forecast. Not a lot of radar spots around that.
No,
so
it's kind of getting out in the middle of nowhere.
It's a tough place to really analyze the potential for any of that there. But I'll merge us back out of the West Des Moines cam there.
It's all good. So we're kind of watching the tail end here of this as it pushes through. Hail is Hail and wind, but I'm not so much sold on the winds, though we are right down the radial. But definitely a clear hail signal being given from this. And it's holding its own. Like, it's not near baseballs what it was earlier. But we're still holding our own at ping pong ball sized hail. So that's getting to be a decent little hailstone in there coming in into Lamoni. Speaking of Lamoni, we do have the airport site there, so I'll get the wind gust revved up. Check in with our friends at the National Weather Service here real quick, just to see if there's any chatter. There is not. Still holding at 28 miles per hour at Lamoni Municipal Airport. Creston gusted to 43. Blockton, I believe, earlier, and by earlier I mean recently, 38 miles per hour. 37, excuse me. Be interesting to see what Lamoni does. Looks like some cold pool wind gusts happening, though, up towards Creston. So maybe a little bit of a wake low trying to come in behind these cells in this weak echo region. But that's a stronger wind gust for being in the cold pool, Logan.
Yeah, I was taking a look. I saw that they updated the excessive rainfall outlook for the day one. It hasn't updated on here yet, but I'll just draw. It looks like they extended out just a couple more into that counting line, but they did include actually Ottumwa heading into Burlington down into Quincy. So this green area that we're seeing that's inside this white line, I'll bring up my mouse. This area is now in a slight for the excessive rainfall outlook, which does include Ottumwa and then Burlington as well, which I think that is out of our viewing area. But Ottumwa, we're starting to see more of a north for that excessive rainfall outlook heading into tonight there, Chris.
Yeah, what do you think about that? You think that's a move you were expecting to see?
It was not. It's much more linear. It's more zonal now. It's more horizontal. As we see a little bean shape with this here, it's much more horizontal, almost looking like a hamburger patty, I would say, for this slight here. It looks like it brings it up a little bit in Missouri. Doesn't have a lot of Brunswick or Moberly here, just more oval, I would say. And I'm trying to look at the marginal. Marginal has it up about same where it is Ames, Marshalltown, and into Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, I don't think
as well. So I don't think that's the major thing, but it just looks like including Ottumwa potentially could be seeing more of that rain risk there, Chris.
So I was just kind of curious because I see this being either side of the Missouri border right now is where that sweet spot's going to be. So I think a northward expansion of that is a little curious. I mean, I don't think it's bad by any means. Still certainly very close to where that heaviest is. It's just, I guess if there was going to be some movement on that, I would expect, maybe a little bit further to the south a bit, because I just don't see the I-80 corridor and points northwards getting that excessive rain. Now, you might still get some rain later tonight, but this on top of what's coming later tonight, you're not getting that. So the worst of the conditions right now into Missouri, what we're carrying one warning right now, how much longer? Is that 8 o'clock? 8:30. Oof, that's a long one. That's going to be for some hail tucked away in here at this point. Let me go to the hail and see. So we still have some pockets of that darker blue in there. That's going to get up to that $50 and golf ball size. $50 ping pong ball size, just west of Lamoni.
Yeah. No, I'll take it back here. We'll go up north just a little bit. See our people
Carroll.
Just north of Carroll, Beretta, Auburn, Lake City. Looks like a decent little shower there for y'all in that area. We'll bring up the hail, see if there's any signatures for that up there. Looks like there is a very small one up in Beretta, just near Hawthorne, 110th Darrell Street, Main Street. So we'll just bring up, we'll get that very small white part, but we'll also get here. So almost getting up to that inch, but 0.8, 0.7 inches for hail. So you're probably seeing some stuff around there, maybe more pea size, but still a nice little small surprise storm for those people in parts of northern Iowa there, compared to the rest of the storms and systems that we've been seeing crossed into Iowa there, Chris.
Yeah, I don't think we were expecting much of substance up in that area until later on, tonight, with that activity trying to work its way in. So the isolated cell up there is a little curious. sometimes it's fun to dive into it and see, what's actually causing this up there, and without diving deeper into it off camera where I'm not talking, it's tough for me to say. At this point, stationary boundary is down here to the south, and it's probably migrating southward at this point with the way the development has been. It's pulling it further south into northern Missouri, and I think we're going to see some of the upper end rain totals probably on the south side of the Missouri border. I do think that southern tier counties in Iowa are going to pull down some really high marks here, but with the way the training is and the vectors are lining up, the Corvitti vectors, you can kind of see there's a slight southward movement. So I will draw the storm motion here. You can see individual cells are moving like this and like this. But notice we're seeing new cells develop back here. So what I'm drawing actually here is the vector of storm development here. So when you do, that's the effective movement that these storms have. Slight southerly, the overall evolution, that means that persistent heavy rainfall is going to slowly migrate its way southward with time. I guess that's the best way to explain it in what it is. But overall, it's a nice wide fat line of storm. So there's going to be a big zone that actually get in on this rain.
Yeah, we'll take a look back here at the big watch that we've been seeing, tornado watch here for the southwestern parts of Iowa, mainly south of I-80. This is still until 11 p.m., so we still have about 3 hours left on this tornado watch here across parts of south.
I don't like that.
Western Iowa.
It'll probably be trimmed and replaced, I think. But.
Yeah, that's what I would think, but potentially could see that severe thunderstorm watch potentially work its way in, I would say, late into Saturday night, into early Saturday morning. A chance, just depends, I'd say, on that wind threat. Could clip some of those western counties with that.
Yeah, this is the one storm. So basically right over Lamoni. Let's see here. We getting anything on the wind gusts from Lamoni? It takes a second for this data to pulse up and get in here. 32, so that'd be subsevere. Red Oak, what are you doing up there? 55? I think we have a wake low. I really do, because that's Creston now that's getting it done. I'm going to ask the Weather Service on that, if you want to take over.
Yeah, there actually is heading behind another severe thunderstorm warning in Iowa, out of our viewing area, just crossing from Nebraska over into Iowa in Fremont County for 1.25 hail and wind speeds less than 50 miles an hour. So this is just a little one with hail here, and looks like it's just right over Hamburg. Getting into Hamburg here across I-29, looks like hail up to that quarter inch. Take a look here, about to an inch there. But something interesting to note, that this is a cell that we did see was behind. Let me get back onto the warning here. But just right behind, still forming up, so potentially could see more start to form as they move more northward, like Chris said. But just something to think about, just a couple counties over into the west, and just general showers over in Ottumwa, Milton, and Sherrton. I'll take a quick look, see if I'll do a 6-hour rain total, see how it's looking across parts of southern Iowa. It looks like places down in Missouri, they got up to the blue, so 5 to 6 inches of rain. I'll take a look, see if it's even higher in that valley down there. But that 6.2 inches radar estimated rain, that is quite the soaking there across that area. But now places in Iowa, especially in the southwestern counties over Quincy and Clearfield. We'll take a look at some of the stuff here. We'll take a quick look at some of these red dots here, 4.2 inches, 3.2 inches. So could potentially, I think it's probably a little bit overestimated since we are relying on the radar for these quick measurements here, but could be seeing, I would say, up to over 2 inches of rainfall across the portions of, let me get these counties right, Adams, Union, Taylor, and Ringgold areas could be seeing those rainfalls up to about 2 inches. And then, Chris, is there anything that you've heard or want to say just yet?
No, yeah, I just conveyed to the National Weather Service, kind of talking about the wake wind, just asking kind of their thoughts on it. Because there's something there stirring up the wind. If it were a true wake low, it's not really in the position I'd expect. Let me just explain that here. Typically, that's kind of behind the thunderstorms. And I guess in a sense it is when you're talking the Corfiti vectors. So sometimes behind the weakening thunderstorms a bit, you can see the wind stir up. We have a wake, a little mini area of low pressure, and that difference between it stirs up the wind. And those wind gusts that I showed you between Red Oak and Creston, showing some numbers that are getting stronger in here. So we'll look at, I think it was 55 in Red Oak once it comes up, and then 43 in Creston. So this is an area where thunderstorms previously moved through, so fitting that weakening bill. And yeah, we had 59 in Red Oak as that one cell moved through, then nothing, and now kind of behind it, some stronger winds. So there's a little bit of a wake wind stirring up on there. A little bit. So 43 in Creston, 55 in Red Oak. And as it pertains to this storm in Lamoni, 32 miles per hour right now. It does look like the hail has significantly gone down, at least with respect to the original pulse. It looks like maybe just right on the western edge of Lamoni proper. There might still be a little bit there, but now on the south edge of the Missouri border. That's where the strongest hail is with this storm. So not even into Decatur County, but estimating up to 2 inches there just south of town, getting down into northern Missouri. So right there, that purple pulse, that's looking to be the strongest. This warning goes until 8:30. This has been a very slow mover, Logan.
Yeah, I was just taking a look at that, the movement of that storm there. Let me click that one. About 15 miles an hour moving east. I was looking at the Iowa Environmental Mesonet, looking at their hourly precept, just seeing if there was any totals from the ASOS stations there. So this is from about 1 to 7 p.m. I think this only might include 6 p.m. though. So I'm not sure how the rainfall data goes, but the leader right now is Red Oak with 1.17 inches, and Clarinda has a 0.18. Clarinda has 0.18 inches, and Centerville is only 0.06. So could see how this looks as it updates with the 8 p.m. and see what the totals look like after that. But Red Oak right now, at least over an inch with their ASOS station there, Chris.
Okay, and Lamoni right now is certainly where the one storm we're watching is at the moment. Let me pull up the storm reports here. Gotta find it, first of all.
It's a little hidden in there.
Yeah, it is. Where are we at? There it is. Apologies for that. Just to recap, we really haven't had much for reports as of late, but a lot of these hail reports out here, these were up to baseball-sized hail. We had a lot of golf balls within, and then at least one touchdown. I don't know if that was actually 2 or not, or if we had 2 people reporting the same touchdown. This was near Gravity, where we had a couple of those tornadoes being reported there. And then the most recent reports, golf ball-sized hail out of Mount Ayr. And since then, it's been pretty quiet. We still have some of the signal that there is some hail being found, but maybe translating with that storm a bit south of the border, at least at minimum, extreme southwestern Decatur County.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see that the storm reports, like yesterday when I was covering the severe weather, all it really was down, there wasn't a lot of hail down in southwestern Iowa. It was a lot of those gusty winds, while a lot of those hail reports were staying more north up near Fort Dodge in that area. So southwest Iowa saw those 70+ mile an hour winds. I think there was one for 75. But now they're starting to see that hail really start to fall into that to those areas in southwestern Iowa. But still, we're getting close there, about the 30-minute left mark with this severe thunderstorm warning for Decatur and Ringgold County. It's at $half size, which is 1.25 inches for hail size, and then 60-mile-per-hour gusts going across the area. We're starting to see nothing yet with flash flood warnings. If potentially,
that's good.
If anything, it'd probably be back near Clearfield and other places around there, but nothing too far yet for that, as we're starting to see a lot of the activity trying to work its way down into Missouri, but we still just do have that severe thunderstorm warning over near Nebraska City, heading Fremont County, which is radar indicated. It looks like that storm up in Carroll, too. Looks like it's starting to weaken, still some of that orange and yellow there, but let's take a look at the hail. looks like that hail threat has gone away there. So starting to see that one fade out. Just that random northern
Good.
shower up there. Nothing here in Des Moines just yet. Maybe some rain down in Indianola, New Virginia, Knoxville, Sheraton as well.
So the latest wind from Lamoni as of 7:55 is now 38 miles per hour. We get a 5-minute observation from this site, so every 5 minutes or so we get a new sampling from this area. If it has a gust, it's going to show it. Looks like it's rotating around through. I think the strongest wind right now would be basically right on the Missouri border if we have it. Looks like maybe a bit of a bowing segment right here. And then a rear inflow jet just a touch. So last, 45 minutes I'll loop it. These have not been too fast. Let me see if I can slow it down. Go very slow. So there is a bit of a broad, big rotating around on it. So we'll expect this southern section to continue to motor out on itself a bit. So that's going to be just south of the border. Kind of curious to see how this wind gust goes with the next report in Lamoni. I have a hunch it could be, fairly strong. While we're on it, keep it right here. I'm going to go on I-35, pull up some of our cams. Of course it's not working. There we go. Rain. I can't see the clouds though. Oh, looks like 35 at Leon is down too. So we had one cam and it showed rain. There's up in Osceola. Yeah, more of the same, but tough to get much of a vantage point there from the way that one looks. So this one severe thunderstorm warning goes for 30 minutes now. And I think we can probably trim out Ringgold County of this. Southern Decatur County, southwestern Decatur County. Certainly some very heavy rain tucked away in there, and I think there's going to be some hail as well.
Yeah, we'll take a look back here on the hail pocket, see if there's anything coming up across that. It looks like that the biggest one is just crossing Highway 69 down in Missouri and parts of I-35. That's out of Iowa as of now, but still some of those early mile markers, maybe up to about mile marker, let me get that here. Maybe mile marker up to 4. Still some chances for some hail across I-35 coming through, but hail size we're starting to see 1.4 inches, 1 inch, and then looks like just south of that Highway 69 in Lamoni, starting to see that hail threat. If you're north of Lamoni and Highway 69, that hail threat's really starting to lower, but still on that Missouri-Iowa border, still the biggest threat for some hail as it's mainly moved down more into Missouri's area inside for that. So bigger picture, we'll zoom it back out. Just a lot of showers down in that southern, in that first row of counties down south in across Iowa, the biggest one being down in Lamoni in those parts in those southwestern counties as well there. Chris?
Wind gust is still holding at 38 from Lamoni at this point. And I'm watching the 5-minute obs here, seeing if I get a new one in. 1 second while I refresh just off screen. 33. So it's trying. It's trying to do something with that. Not really much from the National Weather Service chatter on this. The hail threat is now mainly south of the border. So about Highway 69 just west of 35, and you can see the latest data. And some small hail still may be possible there north, but the hail size right there, getting up there towards golf ball sized on the southern part of the border. So the strongest right now is pushing out of the Local 5 area. And I'll tell you what, Logan, I'm inclined to let the stream go, or at least go back to just looping radar so we can get you prepped here for 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I think that should work. I don't think anything else. Well, of course, some activity does pick up. We'll get back on it here, but we just have, that one severe thunderstorm warning just left, and just the one over in Fremont County as well on that. But I think we'll prep it back to The 24/7 live stream will have it running on here. We'll keep that going in case anything does pick up, but I'll show you all the severe thunderstorm warnings as well across that. You can always keep in touch there. So I think we'll end it there, Chris.
All right, yeah, we'll do that, and we'll be back on. Everyone stay safe. As this one wraps up over Decatur County, I just think the worst of the threats are mainly south into Missouri at this point. So some gusty wind to 45 and some small hail, but even the worst of the hail threat appears to be down to the south. I'll keep watching the wind gusts off this side, and Logan and I will be back on if we need to.